Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are super excited. Today is I guess because it's coming out the week of, this is our Halloween episode.
Oh, it is.
So we are going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be a creepier, we're going to do a horror episode here, because what happened was a horror show, and
bloodbath.
It's completely different. We've never done an episode like this before, where
Correct.
our subject has never actually been arrested, from what all I can tell.
What?
It's never happened. Well, there is some horrible things. Oh, you'll see once I tell you who it is. You're going to go, oh boy, okay, I get it now. But quickly before we get to that, just want to first of all thank you for your reviews. They do help a lot. So whatever app you're listening on, give us as many stars as you can. It helps. I don't know why. Keep doing that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for tickets to live shows.
Yes.
Live shows coming up. Crime and Sports. We have 3 live shows in the next year for Crime and Sports.
God.
One is in Nashville, sold out. One is in Tempe next month, sold out.
Yeah.
Sacramento, California, of like August of 2022. is not sold out. That probably, I assume, might be the last Crime and Sports live show we ever do. So
It might be.
You probably, in all probability, it probably will be. So get your tickets to that. Otherwise, also Small Town Murder, full slate of live shows. San Diego sold out. A lot of them are sold out because of their reschedules. But Brea Improv,
Let's go, Brea.
There's still tickets to that, and the Thursday night Seattle show in December. There is tickets to that. Everything else is sold out. So coming up soon anyway. Brooklyn, I think, sold out. Boston sold out. There we go. So anyway, thank you for doing that. Get your tickets wherever you can now.
Yes.
There's plenty of tickets for 2022 there. Not plenty, so you got to get them fast. They're rescheduled, so they're going.
There's some. They're available.
They're available some of the places, let's put it that way, because people have had them for a long time. So some of the places sold more than others in the beginning. So check all that out and do that. Otherwise, you do want to get to patreon.com/crime and sports, where we have tons of good stuff over there for you. Our back catalog is deep, and anybody subscribing to that's going to get the whole back catalog and everything, both shows, Crime and Sports and Small Town Murders, bonus episodes, and everything like that. This week, the episodes you're going to get and are pretty phenomenal here.
Yes.
First of all, for Crime and Sports, we are going to talk about... You know what? Let's just do this. We are going to talk about, for Halloween, we're going to look at some monstrous freaks.
Great.
Let's talk about the WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation. Vince McMahon's, I was going to do a different one. I just changed my mind right now. Vince McMahon's attempted bodybuilding federation in the early 90s. Federal steroid probe on him, everything. He's like, you know what? I'm going to open up a bodybuilding federation. It's oh God, look at all the vascularity. It's everything he's ever wanted, and it's hilarious, and it didn't last long. So,
what the fuck is this?
At one point, you could watch bodybuilding on pay-per-view, put it that way. So,
oh, gross.
And then for Small Town Murders, we are going to discuss the Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson case that we all know of. Scott Peterson. We're really going to discuss his story and whether because a lot of people have asked us to do this because they're like, what do you think of this? Because his story is very plausible and
super plausible.
It's a lot of people are kind of, I don't know. Like, I think he's guilty because he seems like a dick, but then at the same time, you're like, I don't know. He didn't. All the evidence isn't there. If that was me, I wouldn't want it. That evidence convicted me. So we'll discuss it. We'll go through it, and we'll go through the interrogation and everything like that, and figure out his story on Small Town Murders bonus. You'll have access to all of that. Patreon.com/crimeinsports, and of course, you'll get a shout out at the end of the show because we love you, and Jimmy will mispronounce your name to show that. Also, PayPal. Use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. Get your shout out there. So, that said, let's get into this with a story completely different for Halloween. A little trick, we'll say here, and it's going to be a treat as well. Trick or treat? We say trick and treat, motherfuckers. That's what you're getting.
It's a magic trick indeed.
Boom. Take that.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about the Lorenzen Wright story today. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't know this story, don't Google it right now, please. No, because it's going to ruin the whole thing for you. Right. But if you do know this story, it's one of these stories that dragged on for so long, and we finally have a closure on the thing. Like last month, 2 months ago it happened. So
wow,
the whole thing kind of wrapped up. But other than that, there's still a loose end here that's still wrapping up, and it's wild. So
I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah, if you do know about it, it's one of those that, like I said, it went on for so long, you kind of lose track of certain things, and then in the end you're like, oh, okay, I guess, I don't know, and you really don't get the whole full story. So let's talk about it here. Let's start out with Lorenzen Wright.
Stop it.
I swear on everything that is holy in this world, my children, everything there is, his middle name is Vern-Gagne Wright.
His family were wrestling fans?
If you don't know who Vern Gagne is, you probably haven't been listening to the show for very long. Vern Gagne, very important, and we could technically do a Crime and Sports on Vern, but we won't. We are going to do a bonus episode on how Vince McMahon completely focused on really taking him down and driving him fucking crazy. So that's going to be fun to do. But Vern Gagne ran the AWA, which is a wrestling territory started in Minneapolis and spread out throughout the western United States and Canada. And Vern was the head of this for 35 years. And then Vince McMahon came in and just ate him alive, took Hulk Hogan, took all of his main talent, moved into Minneapolis, ran shows there, got, just absolutely.
How did Lorenzen Wright's family land on that name?
Well, Vern, in the end of his life, when he had dementia and Alzheimer's, and he was in a retirement home or nursing home, he actually body slammed a 94-year-old Holocaust survivor and killed him. Not because he was a Holocaust survivor, but just happened to be also, this guy survived the Nazis. But
the guy
Vern
who
Gagne
body slammed did that also.
took him down and killed him. And it was a homicide, but they didn't press charges because he didn't know where the fuck he was. He was like, they were like, did you kill that guy? And he's like, waffles. They're like, I don't know what waffles means. I don't think he's all there.
I want more pudding.
Yeah, he said he's wearing comfortable underpants. I don't know what that means. We're gonna have to let him go. So it's if Lorenzen Wright was like a white dude from Minneapolis, I would go, this makes sense.
Yeah,
they probably idolized him. A black guy from the South, this makes literally no sense. Not because, how could they like this guy, but because that didn't even go there. Lorenzen Wright is born in 1975. The AWA wasn't on in the South in 1975. It wasn't on television. It wasn't on television. There was no way to see it down there.
That is fascinating.
It's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. But
you got no connection? No way to connect it still?
His father liked Vern Gagne. That was it.
Evidently.
No, that's what it is. His father said he was the one who gave him the name, and his father calls him Gagne. That's his name that his father always calls him, is Gagne. Gagne Wright. That's what he loves. Vern Gagne, to the point of naming his, not Vern, not Gagne, Vern Gagne, to make sure you know how down with Vern Gagne this motherfucker is. Do you understand how crazy this is?
I know Jimmie Elvis Presley Whisman. My dad is a big fan, obviously.
I mean, at least like a lot of people there's probably a lot of people that did that, though.
I bet you're right.
I'm sure there is in the South especially, but I don't know how many like black dudes born in the South have a middle name of Vern Gagne. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any fucking sense, rhyme, reason, or anything.
Yeah.
Even Greg Gagne's middle name isn't Vern, I don't think. This is fucking crazy. So
it's pretty impressive, though.
It's wild. It's the weirdest, and this whole 277 episodes and countless bonuses and everything. This is the weirdest thing we've ever encountered. It is. This is the thing that blew my mind the most. I did so much research into what's the cause of it, and it just turns out in a newspaper article in the 90s, I found his dad just going, really like Vern Gagne. Okay.
And he's such an obscure person. So obscure.
I mean, not in the wrestling business, but we're not. This isn't in the wrestling business. That's my point. His dad's 70s, not in the wrestling business. It doesn't make sense. He's a regional guy.
In the 70s, that's mad obscure, though.
Yeah.
That's like naming some kid today Charles Bronson as a middle name. Nobody fucking knows who that is.
The only thing I can think, and this doesn't make a ton of sense, is that, okay, his dad, let's say his dad was 25 when he was born, okay? That would put him at 1950, his being born. When Vern Gagne became a huge national star in the early 50s to mid 50s on Dumont television nationally. So in that time period, from like 55 to 60, he was a household name, Vern Gagne, in the country.
Is that right?
Absolutely. He was a household name. He did national commercials for things. Every Saturday night, he was the star of the show on TV. So and it was a national show. And then when wrestling kind of lost favor after that, then it went regional, and he stayed in Minnesota, and everybody probably forgot where the fuck he was. But apparently everyone except Herb Wright, Lorenzen's dad, who remembered his childhood hero Vern Gagne and named his son after him. So anyway, he's born November 4th, 1975, Lorenzen.
Wild.
It's a very strange thing. Now, Lorenzen's parents, Deborah and Herb are their names, by the way. We'll talk a lot about Herb because Herb is Lorenzen's like everything. I mean, he's always with him. He moves with him places.
That's great.
He's with him. We'll find out why too. There's a reason. There's a reason that brings them even closer. So his parents get separated when he's young. But both of them are involved in his life a lot. You know, he spends summers with his dad, and, you know, his dad's a basketball player who plays overseas a little bit, and we'll get into. So, you know, when his dad's there, he spends a lot of time with Lorenzen. He shuttles between his mom's home in Oxford, Mississippi, and he goes between there and his dad's house in Memphis. Dad lives in Memphis. He lives in Oxford, Mississippi. Goes back and forth, spends summers in Memphis with his dad, holidays, shit like that, whenever he can. It's only 80 miles away, so it's not like it's an hour and a half drive. No big deal. Not a trek. So his dad grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. There, Herb. Apparently, at first he wasn't a basketball player.
Lorenzen wasn't?
No, his dad, Herb, wasn't really a ball player, but he was like a good athlete. A friend of his best friend, Larry Finch, was the best player in the city. Larry will end up coaching the Memphis State basketball team where Lorenzen ends up playing. So this is all very kind of in the family type of shit. Okay. So Herb Wright and Finch grew up together, and they double dated and shit. Like they were like real close, tight buddies. Finch went on to end up getting a ton of records at Memphis State as a player, became a hero there. And, you know, he was from Memphis, so a natural choice to be a coach later on. Herb ended up graduating from high school and working construction. That was his lot. But his younger brother, Alvin, I guess, was a good basketball player and was going to graduate from college playing at Memphis State. And so he seemed like he decided maybe I should play basketball, which is weird to just say maybe I should play basketball. Like maybe I'll pick it up.
Should do. How wild is that? And he made the NBA, so he
not the NBA. He played overseas. This guy
Lorenzen didn't.
Not Lorenzen's. We're talking about Herb, not Lorenzen.
So Herb just decided out of nowhere that he's going to
start. He's going to start playing basketball.
Because his brother does.
Yeah, and he's like, I mean, you know, why not? My friend plays, my brother plays. I mean, I feel like I could just be on a team, which is
give it a chance.
Not a thing. That's how different basketball was back then too. If they saw athletic ability, they'd be like, we'll teach them how to shoot and shit. Whereas now you have to have it all. So Hakeem Olajuwon, when he was drafted in the NBA, had only been playing basketball for 5 years. And he was the number one overall draft pick, you know?
And one of the best that ever did it.
He's insanely one of the best centers ever. And 5 years he had been playing.
Agile, could shoot, could dunk. He was great.
He was fucking amazing. Played D. He was awesome. Yeah. So Herb said, quote, it seemed like to me like basketball might be the way to go. So I started playing more and more after work. I couldn't hit the side of a barn with my shot. Pure brick. But I did have a 48-inch vertical leap.
Holy shit.
That's still, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's like, you know, Barkley's is 44 famously. Right. That's how he's 6'4" and can average 15 rebounds. Right. Jordan's is 43. Dr. J's is in the low 40s. You know, these famous dunkers. And he's saying, fucking shit, I'm 48, which is not too bad. Now, a friend of his who was a basketball player and a coach later said the first time I saw him jump, I thought Superman was taking off. Okay. So everybody backs up the fact that he could jump like this, and he must have because he ends up on basketball teams. So that's the only way he could pull that off. He's only 6'5", too, his dad. He's not Lorenzen's 6'11". Well, for basketball,
all right.
If you're Olajuwon being 7 foot tall, 7'1", they go okay.
Tall guys talking about only 6.
Well, that's taller than me.
I get it,
but you know, Olajuwon 7'1", you go, I don't care. We'll make him block shots and shit. Yeah. Whereas 6'5", it's like, well, you better be able to play, motherfucker, because people can. Yeah. We got guys 7 feet tall who can't play. Oh man, so. The coach of the Shelby State Junior College opened in Memphis in 1972, and the coach was looking for players.
Okay.
Imagine they're just looking for players for the college.
Putting out a classified ad.
Yeah, and a friend of the coach's said, well, why don't you go around to like local rec centers and like, you know, local gyms and
find
the Y
and look for the best guys.
See if you can find some guys. This guy said that he talked to the coach. He said, quote, I told Joe, I know where you can get a guy who can jump out of the gym. It was Herb Wright. He signed him the first time he saw him jump. That's all he had to do was jump. And they were like, you're on the fucking team. So 2 years later, he's doing really well, Herb Wright, and he leads the nation's junior colleges in rebounding. So it took 2 years for that to happen. He ended up playing for 2 seasons at Ole Miss after that, too, which is a Division I school.
Big SEC school.
That's big stuff. And then he ended up signing to play pro basketball in Finland.
Oh.
So he ends up going overseas. And, you know, this is after Lorenzen's born.
All on a whim.
So he comes back. I feel like, maybe I'll play basketball.
That's just what I'm going to do.
Imagine being that athletic that you're just like, I think maybe I'll do this. And they're like, will you play for us? We'll teach you how to do it. That's how amazing you are.
That explains why there's so many podcasts.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just going to make a podcast.
Yeah, I guess I'll just do that. You don't have 48-inch vertical leaps, everybody. Yeah, that's the problem.
They don't have podcasts that have the equivalent of that.
Mm-hmm. So that's my
maybe
point.
Don't make a podcast.
That's my point. Have the leap before you pod. Yeah. Work on it. Work on the game. Yeah. You go, well, you assholes are doing podcasts. We also were on stage every fucking night for years.
10 years, right.
Yeah, like
plenty of time.
Multiple times a night. Like, you know, so it's a practice. Practice is what we're saying, and then work on it, and it's good. Then you can play on the Shelby State team, and maybe you'll be pro in Finland someday.
Right.
Which is like us. I feel like we're the type where we're like, hey, we're really famous in Paraguay. We can't walk down the street. You know, that's how I feel.
We're very famous on a 1 block radius on the night that we have a show at the theater that's on that block.
Huge.
We're insane famous right there.
Which is really a good way to do it because we're people that we want to like us, and then when we go to the airport, nobody bothers us. It's beautiful.
Nobody gives a shit. Right?
That's great. Nobody
it's
cares.
Not even that they don't bother us. Nobody gives a shit.
That's what I mean. They wouldn't bother us unless we were like stepping on their shoe or something because they don't know who the fuck we are. Like that
Nobody
old
gives
man.
a shit, including the airline that we're flying on.
Oh, yeah. Like that old man who came up and, what's that line for? Nah. I love that guy.
Yeah, the line of people waiting to meet us. What's this line for? Nah.
Yeah, we tell him, he just goes, looks at us and goes, nah, and walks away. That was beautiful. And we laughed like banshees for fucking 8 minutes because we thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
You and everybody outside of the building for here thinks the exact same thing.
Yep. What the hell is wrong with these people? So Lorenzen ends up at his dad's house every summer. Herb works for the Memphis Recreation Department during the summer. And Lorenzen would live in Mississippi and then come July and August spend with his father. So the summer of 1983, unusual, Lorenzen spending time with his dad.
Yep.
They're working together, shoveling gravel and pouring concrete and building fences around his dad's house and doing some, yard work together and shit, and playing basketball a lot as well. And this is, Lorenzen's 8 years old at this moment in time, but he wants to play basketball too. His dad plays in Finland. He sees pictures of his dad. He knows his dad can play. So, he's into it. So, anyway, the summer's over, beginning of August, he ends up driving young Lorenzen back down to his mom's house there, drives him down to Oxford, Mississippi, goes back to Memphis, goes to the rec center. It's August 12th, 1983. And Herb said, quote, I used to work in the gym trying to give something back to the kids in the neighborhood. It was the right thing to do. So he would have kind of a rec program open till school started, so the kids would have somewhere to go during the day other than jail, which is nice. So the final day of the rec program's 1983 summer schedule is Herb's last day working for doing that for this year, and then he's got to get prepared to go play overseas again.
Right.
So that's how that works. His supervisor asked him to keep the gym closed that day, just knock off a day early. But Herb said no, because the kids knew that was the last day, and they were dependent on that being the last day. So he didn't want to.
That's my party day. Everybody's throwing me a party that day. I'm coming in. I'm showing up for that. It's an easy day.
That's the thing. We're doing it. It'll be a nice time. Maybe we'll get pizza. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So he said, I wanted to let the kids in. Well, everything was fine until these three guys started making trouble. Then I put them out of the gym. So he puts them out of the gym here. He told them, he said, get out, telling these guys, get the fuck out of here. Apparently they got themselves in a game that included Lorenzen's sister and aunt. And they were kicking the shit out of these guys. The sister and the aunt were that team was schooling them.
Yeah.
And these guys kept getting angry at him and were starting to throw elbows and shit. So Herb said, all right, you guys got to get out of here. It's
disheartening when women are kicking the shit out of you at a physical sport.
You're throwing elbows at people, at my niece. And this is ridiculous. And my daughter, daughter and sister. It is. So get the fuck out of here. So the guys told him, that's all right. We'll be back. And he was like, yeah, whatever, big fucking deal. Uh-huh. So they do end up coming back. And somebody had told Herb, popped in and told him, hey, those guys you threw out are outside making a lot of noise and they want to come back in and get to you. Yeah. So he said, oh, shit, now he was going to go call the cops. And he said he was going to the rec center's back door. He knew there was a phone there in the building. And he said the guys were there, though, and they burst through the back door. He said he turned around and took off, Herb did, and ran for help. He said, but as he ran, they started firing shots at him.
Oh, my God.
First shot misses Herb. Second shot hits Herb. Lorenzen says, this is Lorenzen later on, quote, he tried to get up, but he couldn't. He crawled to the side of a car. He was trying to get up, and a guy pulled up and told him, you've been shot. And Herb says, I knew I had to be paralyzed because I couldn't feel my legs. No. So paralyzed from the chest down forever here. Poor Herb.
But getting shot in the back?
Shot in the back.
Coward pussy. Wow.
Yep. Shot a guy who was running the other way. So
fucking unbelievable.
Yep. Herb said, quote, it took me 5 days to accept that until the moment I woke up. I thought, hey, I'm here. I still have my upper body. I still have my family. Let's get into it. That was her. I still got my arms and I got my family, so let's do this shit.
Yeah.
You gotta like Herb. Herb's got a great fucking attitude.
Yeah. His outlook on life is much cheerier than mine would be after I got shot in the fucking spine.
Yeah. And 4 months later, he's coaching a girls' high school basketball team.
Wow.
Herb, from his wheelchair. Less than a year later, he's coaching Shelby State Community College women's basketball. And he'll be really good at it, too. He'll end up in I think he's in like the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame, the father, for all the shit he's done, or the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, one of those.
Wait a minute, Herb.
So Lorenzen said the next time I saw my dad after the shooting, he was driving the car with the hand controls. He'd come down to pick me up for Christmas. So he said he was just in his life
Those
like nothing happened.
Scare me, man.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who had dad had a car like that, and he'd borrow it once in a while.
On the handlebars on the fucking wheel from the throttle
weird,
and the brake. That's horrifying.
Yeah, he liked the big knob thing to turn it. He thought that was pretty cool. But other than that,
the wheel is great. That's pretty rad. But the handlebar gas and brake, no. This is a car.
That is terrifying.
This is not a bicycle.
It's scary to do. You're just not used to it. I guess you're used to it if you're in that situation. It's better than not having a car.
But the car has to be modified for that to happen,
fuck
James.
Yeah, they do.
And those things like
deal.
A man does that. A man installs that. How much do you trust that motherfucker?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, that's true. They don't roll off the factory.
The assembly
like
line doesn't have handlebar
wheelchair accessible cars. That's not a disable accessible.
No,
that's not a thing.
It's like a limo. Those shits are custom.
Yeah,
you gotta have that done.
Not a lot of hearses coming off the line type of thing. You gotta. You want a double? Yeah, we can make it for you. We're still.
I'll get there.
So Lorenzen said his dad, he was a hero to him. He said he never stopped being his dad. The next time he saw him, he was just in the groove of his life, just happened to be in a wheelchair now. Yeah. He was coaching, he's doing this and that. He said, Lorenzen said that it was really, really weird, but he said nothing changed in my dad's attitude, so I didn't change my attitude. He was like, I guess it's fine. Dad's acting like it's fine, so I guess it's cool. He says, quote, he didn't let it get him down, so I wasn't going to let it get me down. He just told me what happened and that he was going to dedicate himself more to my basketball and teaching me how to play. Seeing him be so strong, I thought I could handle anything. And then Herb says, I let him know that, hey, this can happen to you. It can happen to anybody. You never know what's going to happen down the line, but it's no reason to throw your hands up and quit. So
what an attitude. I'm blown away.
Yeah, he said, what if I'd thrown my hands up and quit? He might not get to where he's going. So
true.
That's it.
Very true.
So his senior year, he decides to get serious about basketball.
Okay.
And this is, Dad wants to train him every day. Wants to make him like you want to, because Lorenzen's 6'11". I mean, he has a chance. If you're a 6'11" and a good athlete, come from a guy who can jump 48 inches, you have as good a chance as anyone on the face of the earth as to make the NBA. Yeah. You have a real chance of doing that, and you're going to go to college. I mean, there's everything. So he said, if you're serious, I will work your ass out and make it real, so you'll be prepared.
How many times did Lorenzen want to tell him, don't tell me to run harder while you sit in a chair?
Yeah.
You are sitting on your ass, sir.
I'm like Little Mac right now, running while you're on a bicycle. This is bullshit. Get the hell out of here.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare. So his senior year, he moves from Mississippi up to Memphis. Okay. And in his sophomore and junior year, they had gone to the state championship twice and everything like that. So he's a really good player. Yeah. And he moves to Memphis. He has a 5-inch growth spurt at some point in here, too, where he goes from like 6'6" to 6'11" mid-high school, which is like,
so rad. Unbelievable.
That's awesome. Yeah. You're like, hey, I just grew about $30 million. That's pretty cool. That's what it is. Every inch, you're like, hey, another $5 million. Look at that.
I'm a money tree. I'm an actual money tree. And
literally,
I'm growing.
As I'm growing, money is falling off of me. So, his goes there. His dad is full-time into that. Also in his senior year of high school, he starts dating a woman.
Okay.
Named Shira Robinson, who is her dad, Julius, is Lorenzen's AAU coach. Okay. Now
he's dating the coach's daughter.
His AAU coach. Now, the coach is fine with this because Lorenzen is a really a top-notch kid. Like nobody has a bad word to say about him. He's respectful. He's a good student. He's He's a good kid. I mean, he just
looks like
a
date one of my players. It's the best one for you to date.
Date this guy. Like, yeah, he's got his shit together. He's going to be something. So, she though, this is a different thing. This isn't like this like flower that he's trying to protect the father. She's 5 years older than Lorenzen. So he's 17. She's 22. Which the chasm between 17 and 22 is it's the biggest chasm you could get. Like, there's no 35 and 40. There's nothing there. You're a little grumpier. That's it.
Missing Bills has affected her life for 4 years. Like, he doesn't know anything about what missing a bill feels like.
17 to 20, high school and 22.
Right.
Not only is she 22, she has been around like more of older people, society. She used to date Isaac Hayes, the singer.
What?
You know, Chef. She dated him. Hot Buttered Soul. She dated that motherfucker.
Wow.
Just can't get enough. You know, that's what she's saying.
Her boyfriend.
That's her boyfriend. So she's worldly, let's say, compared to a 17-year-old who hangs out with his dad every day in a wheelchair. It's just not the same. You just can't compare those two lives. But
she's worried about a credit score, and he's worried about a score on a history test. Like, it's an entirely different life.
Absolutely. But they hit it off. She's also very beautiful as well. Okay. And they hit it right off and click, and they're kind of together from then on. That's his girl from 17 on. And, he goes to Booker T. Washington High School in Memphis. And his dad's coaching women's basketball at Shelby State Community College, which, pretty damn fucking cool. And everybody's doing well. And in Herb's first season as coach, Shelby State went 27-3.
Holy shit.
And finished third in the NJCAA national tournament. So
National Junior, whatever the fuck,
whoever the fuck it is. Either way. Yeah. Third in the tourney and 27-3. So he's a goddamn good coach, and he's coaching Lorenzen as well. He said, this is what Herb said, quote, "I decided to make him run 6 miles a day before he was allowed to work on his game. That's what I had done when I played." So, yeah, you got to have the endurance to even be able to work on your game after running 6 miles. So that puts you.
6 a day.
Yep, that's if you're 6'11", though, running the floor like that's going to come in handy later.
I just rode my bicycle 8 miles last weekend, and I almost died.
Yeah, you're
rode a bicycle, Jay.
You were sore like 7 days later, so that
was 2 days late. That was 2 days ago. I hurt this morning, like my balls hurt from sitting on a seat.
6 miles a day, Jimmy. Get right up.
Running, holy shit!
And being that tall too, it takes a toll on you. That really does. That's the thing.
It's a lot of pressure.
There's a big difference between 6'5" and 6'11" when it comes to that shit, because I mean, everything on me is falling apart. I can't imagine, and has been for 15 years. So I can't imagine from my early 20s. So I can't imagine how 6'11" feels. He also said, this is Herb, quote, "We did this 5 days a week. On the 6th day, I slept in and he got up and ran anyway." That showed me.
Oh my God.
That showed me right there that this kid wanted to be the best he could be.
Yeah, he's running 40 fucking miles a week.
That's wild. And Lorenzen said, quote, "My work ethic, he taught me that. When you're young, you want to do all the things the other kids are doing. Play video games, sit in the house and eat potato chips, just play or whatever. He wouldn't let me do that. He taught me things, and he'd say, one day, if you make it in the NBA, you're going to have a bunch of free time, and this way you won't have to go out and do something crazy. You can buy an old car and fix it up all day or build something in the back of your house." Because that's what he taught him to do, was build shit, and they worked on old cars in the driveway a lot. So he's like, you can go do that rather than get in trouble.
I want that life.
Yeah, piss off his money. Lorenzen credits his dad for his floor savvy, his rebounding prowess, everything. He says, "I know for a fact that he gave me the love of rebounding. I guess that's why I'd rather have 20 rebounds over 20 points any day." Sure. That kind of attitude, by the way, on a player is almost like a signifier of character. Yeah. Someone who's like, "I want 20 boards." Like, I'm pulling them down. And like, it's it's like the person who's like, "I want to be the catcher in baseball." Right. It's just a different type of
it's very indicative of the competitive nature of the guy and how much he wants to be part of this.
And he's not like a glamour seeker really either. That's the other thing. He's not that kind of guy at all. He said that people would used to harp on his dad and talk shit about his dad, saying he was working him too hard all the time. Okay. But Lorenzen was like, no, that's what I want to do, and I'm happy he's doing it. And Herb said, what do you want to do with your life? He said he would ask his son. He said, do you want to be a video game player or a basketball player? And he said the son would say a basketball player. And he said, well, there you go. Herb said, what the critics didn't understand is that I sat Lorenzen down and explained what needed to be done. I made him understand it was not going to be easy, and he accepted that. Mm-hmm. So he didn't say, you have to do this. He said, hey, do you want to play this when you're older? And he said, yes. And he goes, okay, well, here are the steps you have to take. And if you want, I'll take you through them. And if not, then go play video games. But, you know, I played in college. I play in the pros. I know what it takes. So if you want to do it, do it.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
So, he said he ended up, that's what he did. He was doing that, and he'd still do all the shit with his dad during the summer. And his dad said, I didn't allow him to get a job in the summer. I wanted him to work on his game, but I also wanted him to know what hard work is, and that was learning too. So rather than a job, he'd play basketball and pour concrete and do all that shit around his dad's house. So, he ends up in high school. He has a 5-inch spurt of growth.
Right.
And he says, the father says he told the mother, I told her, you buy the pants and I'll buy the shoes, because he grew out as well as up. So they were constantly, having to buy
money for clothes.
Yeah, I mean, shit, when you're a teenager, you have to buy whole new teenage wardrobes every 3 months. That's got to be crazy. He is a 1993-1994 McDonald's All-American, which is that's where they're, all the top schools
are. All-star game.
Yeah, they're picking from everywhere in the country. And they said that he loves the hook shot. Lorenzen does, and they're talking to him about the game, and he says, it's my favorite shot, learned it from my dad. He says, quote, I've been doing it from day one. It's the first shot my father taught me. And he says, you're going to see it in the game, especially with all these big guys. So he's ready to go. He ends up signing a letter of intent. He can go pretty much anywhere the fuck he wants to, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, he's a 6'11" McDonald's All-American, so he can, awesome. I mean, he doesn't have a limited choice of schools to go to. And of everywhere he can go in the whole country, he chooses to sign a letter of intent at Memphis State.
All right.
Which is now, I just think, the University of Memphis, I believe. But it used to be Memphis State. It was Memphis.
Penny Hardaway went, right?
Exactly, yeah. Penny Hardaway went right before him. He graduated the year before Lorenzen came. So, yeah, he ends up signing there, though. It's the home school, his dad's place, and this makes him a local hero, obviously, because he was dominating Memphis high school at that point. And the coach is that Coach Finch, the guy that his dad grew up with as one of his boys. So one of his best friends and all that shit. So he trusts him with his son, which is great, too. And, his mother was she thought that, she would have preferred that he went somewhere near her, but he's still only 80 miles away. And Lorenzen said, quote, I wanted to stay near my dad. I wanted him to be able to see me play. He gives me pointers. He stands by me. And I'm not ready to leave that.
Right. So, and Mom doesn't know shit about basketball. So
she's not watching tape with me afterwards. Right. I'll see her on the weekends. I'll go home on the weekends. But during the week, I need some pointers. He said, I wonder what happens. I wonder sometimes what would have happened if that bullet had just missed. He says, this is Herb talking. I wonder if I'd have even been in America to see my son develop the way he has. He said, maybe this happened to keep me from continuing to go back to Europe and leaving him behind to grow up without me. Sure. Maybe this is where I belonged or I was really needed all along. So he's trying to find a positive of getting shot in the spine. He's like,
hey, you have that attitude about fucking anything.
I would just be the most bitter asshole ever. I'd be such a dick. I'd be such an asshole. No matter what. I wouldn't be able to help it. I'd be like, I'm sorry. I know I'm an asshole, but I'm in this fucking goddamn it. They shot me in the back.
I was born able-bodied. I could do things to that punk-ass kid with a gun.
48 inches. Do you know how fucking tall that is? That's ridiculous. I could jump that. I can't walk.
I could jump over an 8-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's difficult. Yeah, I could jump a Chevy Malibu. Now what am I doing? Nothing. So, I mean, not that they're obviously you're in a chair, but it's for a guy who could jump 48 inches, that's a big difference.
Not just able-bodied, unbelievably talented-bodied.
Top 0.001% of athleticism on the face of the earth. That's a different thing,
Wow, man.
I mean, if you were in a chair, it really wouldn't be that much of a switch for you.
No.
As far as your lifestyle goes.
I sit a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, you weren't like, oh, fuck, I was 360 dunking last week, so it's not a big deal.
I just walked slightly more than I do now.
Yeah. It's fucking tough. And that's a tough, as you know, we know plenty of people in wheelchairs, and it's,
oh my God,
it's very tough, man. That's a tough lifestyle depending on what it's difficult. So in college, Larry Finch has been dying for Lorenzen Wright. He was drooling over him this whole senior year in high school. He couldn't wait. He just has wanted him to be there. He said he charted every move that he made.
We call that stalking.
Yeah, that's what these coaches do.
Yeah.
They stalk, man. He just had them all planned out in his offense the next year. Yeah. They hadn't recruited a real center since the early 80s, they said, and they wanted a rebounder, shot blocker, and, Wright's the guy for that. So 94-95, Memphis Tigers, they're 24-10. So they make the tournament. They go first round. They beat Louisville 77-56. So blow them out, actually. Second round here, they beat number 3 seed Purdue.
Wow.
So they play above themselves, get an upset, and then they lose finally 96-91 to Arkansas, who I think they won it that year. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. If not, they won it the year before, but I think they won it that year. Nolan Richardson coaching and all that.
Corliss Williamson, probably those guys, right?
That's the group I'm thinking of here. So number 2 Arkansas, they were the number 2 seed too. Okay. But still, I mean, he's a freshman, so this is great for him. Sure. He starts all 34 games.
Wow.
Averages 34.4 minutes a game as well. So that's the whole game. I mean, you're barely taking him out. It's a 40-minute game in college. So that's so rare for a freshman, but he's got the body of a man. I mean, the
man runs 40 miles a week. This isn't shit.
And Lorenzen's not a 6'11" beanpole either. Right. He's a fucking thick guy. He's a athletic, muscular dude. He's a big guy here.
He was playing against Corliss Williamson then, because Corliss was the center too, right?
Power forward maybe, but in college he might have been more of a center.
He's so big, though. Yeah, so that would have been a fun fucking game to watch.
No shit. That really would have been fun. He shoots 56% from the field that year, too, which is amazing. 14.8 points, 10.1 rebounds, 2.1 blocks per game.
Great player.
Exactly what they wanted out of him, and that's as a freshman.
Wow.
So, it's pretty goddamn amazing, honestly. So Lorenzen says about his dad, he says, quote, "In a way, I'm dedicating my career to him." He said he's just everything that he's achieving is all his dad. The point guard on the team said he doesn't play like a freshman. I'd say he plays more like someone at the end of his sophomore year or at the beginning of his junior year.
Yeah. Confidence
and shit like that, which is pretty good. Wright led the team in scoring and rebounding. Okay. So, I mean, what do you want from the guy as a freshman? As a freshman center. And Lorenzen said, "I think I have something to prove when I'm out here. I get fired up in big games. Other guys might get scared, but with me, my intensity overrules my jitteriness." Okay. Sounds like a smart guy, too. Over the summer here, he plays for the United States in Japan at the World University Games. Right. He goes over there. They end up winning a gold medal as well over there. So, that's a big experience for a kid who's, shuttles back and forth from Memphis to Mississippi. And he's been around in college now, but overseas, most of these guys, I've never been to fucking Japan. I don't know anything about that.
James, I haven't been past 20 miles on a boat outside of the national waters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never been on a big cruise line. I don't want it. I'm not going.
I'm not going on a cruise line. I'm not going to go float around some disease pit. By the way, people have asked us, often. They say, "Why don't you guys do a cruise ship?" Other podcasts, they do a cruise ship.
Gross.
Because no, that's disgusting. That's for your own good as well as ours. We're not doing a cruise ship.
We're doing you a favor.
We're doing you a favor. Trust me. You don't want to be
off of that floating Denny's. That's disgusting.
Oh, thank you. You don't want that. We'll come to you. How's that sound? We'll come around and you come see us when we get to your city. So, and thank you for doing that. He says about going to Japan, quote, "It boosted my confidence a lot. It made me think, hey, I'm playing with the best players in the nation." Because Ray Allen was there, Tim Duncan was there. Yeah. He said, guys like that. I'm playing with these guys and I'm playing good. I'm starting. I'm a captain. So it made me feel real good about myself. And, and his coach said that can't help but make you a better player.
Sure.
He also
He's mature as shit.
He's a very mature, and I think that's because he hangs out with his dad, fucking working on old cars in the summer. Lorenzen, though, he says that, he's misunderstood a lot. He says, quote, "I'm a regular person. Most people expect me to be crazy and mean until they get to know me. I had a friend a while back who was in an accident and got hurt. I sat and stayed with him for a while. He was surprised. He thought I was too busy being a basketball player." But he said he's all about that shit, though. He developed, they call it the howl there in Memphis when he was there. When you get a rebound, Herb said, quote, "Get a rebound and let out a howl, elbows out. Every rebound is supposed to be mine." So it's his way of, rather than blocking a shot and screaming, he does it when he fucking gets a rebound.
Grabs the ball,
he's in the fucking paint, grabbing shit, big guy. That's good. That's intimidation there. So April 11th, 1995, a son is born.
Already?
Oh, yeah. Shira's pregnant there.
Well, she is 30 now, so
that's what I mean. She's pushing.
Ticking.
She just got Modern Maturity magazine in the mail, so she's like, "Oh, my biological clock is moving."
Yeah.
So the son is born.
Ridiculous.
And as we always do, I let you guess the name.
Is it Vern Gagne? Is it Hulk Hogan?
It is Randy Savage Wright is his name.
It is Lorenzen the Ultimate Warrior Wright.
I think that's his name, as a matter of fact. That's it. He just goes, well, he's into promoters, so it's Vince McMahon. That's his name. No, his name is Lorenzen Jr., of course.
Yeah, he gave him Vern Gagne Jr.
There are two people walking around, the face of this fucking green earth. And Lorenzen Jr., he's older now. He's born in 95. He might have a kid, too.
There might be a third.
There could be a third.
God, there is a third. There's got to be a third.
Think about that shit. That's wild, isn't it?
Vern Gagne's got
Jr.
kids named after him.
Now, this kid, born in 95, has to go, who the fuck is Vern Gagne when they tell him his middle name? Because by 2000, Vern was, AWA closed in 91. It was over. Vern was out of it, man. They inducted him into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007 or some shit. But outside of that, gone. They will have together a total of 7 children. Shira and Lorenzen. 7 kids, including a set of twin boys in there. Yeah. All sorts of kids. So,
and Shira was born in the 70s, long before
1970. She's
before
born.
The show She-Ra came out. So she's got she's got to be
She-Ra. And I have to keep thinking of it that way because it looks like Shara. Her name is Sherra, so it looks like Shara. But it's her name is She-Ra.
She-Ra.
He-Man's cousin.
Poor Shira.
My mother, I remember when I was a kid, I had He-Man. You know, did you have He-Man? Yeah, we know He-Man. Okay, I had He-Man, and I got a She-Ra because it's He-Man's. It's part of the world, right? Or I wanted a She-Ra, and my mother said no because she's a slut. My mother said, "I'm not buying that little slut," and I was like, "Huh? It's She-Ra's cousin." And she was like, look at her. Her He-Man's cousin. What are you talking about? Now, look at this. This is no good. I was like, little slut. What are you talking about?
She did have a pretty good looking skirt on.
I think I was 5.
but He-Man wore a skirt too, so what the fuck?
He-Man wore furry underwear. That's what he wore. So what is the difference? He's dressed like some kind of fucking Viking male stripper, and this fucking broad, who cares? I mean, we're all...
naked chest with like that cross thing on his chest.
With a no bullet belts across his chest. That he could put his giant
suspenders holding up underwear,
into.
Ma.
Yeah, furry underwear and a belt, which also very weird. An underwear and belt? You don't need a belt for underwear.
Didn't he have a skirt too?
That was no. They had Prince Adam he had like a velvet.
He wore like a kilt kind of skirt.
Did he wear
is that
kilt?
Is that the Thundercat that wore the skirt?
I think you're thinking of the Thundercat.
It might be the Thundercat.
Yeah.
Somebody wore a goddamn skirt.
You know what, though? When He-Man's Prince Adam, before he turned into He-Man, he had the velvet, like it was like a red velvet vest he had, because he was like, it was like a dinner jacket, like he's because he's the prince, he's going doing society things. Yeah, but that was kind of long and it kind of hung over his underwear, so it kind of looked like he had like either no underwear or a skirt on.
It's just Winnie the Pooh in
it. Telling you, man,
so creepy.
So
It makes sense why your mom would have that opinion, is my point.
I mean, she didn't know it. She just looked at the figure and was like, she's a little slut. And I was like, huh? What's that? I'm 5. I don't know what that means.
She's fucking the Swamp Thing.
I don't understand that. Yeah. She was fucking Man-O-War and it wasn't working out. Or not Orko. Oh, God. So... they'll end up getting married in 98. They have a daughter named Lauren, first of all, Loren, like Lorenzen.
Yeah.
But okay. Lauren. They have twin boys, Lamar and Shamar.
Okay.
The rhyming twin names. Another daughter, Sophia, another son named Lawson, and then finally the 7th is a girl named Sierra. We'll talk about all this. So they have a whole brood here going on. 95-96 for Memphis. They're 22-8 that year, so still pretty good. They lose, though, in the first round of the tournament. One of those upsets, number 12 seed, they lose to. No. Drexel beats them, which, I mean, that's just Drexel. Yeah. 30 games for Lorenzen. Starts all 35.3 minutes a game, which is a lot. 17.4 points, 10.4 rebounds, 2 blocks. You know,
he's so good.
He's pretty goddamn good. And he says to the newspaper in 95 about his dad, he's taught me everything, not just about basketball, but in life too. He's my biggest inspiration. Whenever I'm down or tired, I just look at him and it lifts me up. He's such a big part of my life. He can help me. He helps me in any way he can. If he hadn't gotten shot, he was playing basketball at the time. After getting shot, he was able to concentrate more on me. So, yeah, he said it wasn't so much about basketball, though. He said he learned about being a man. He said, quote, he taught me to think before you do something. Think if you think you'll never go wrong, well, unless you think stupid shit, but Lorenzen generally doesn't.
Yeah.
He says he still works on old cars with his dad. They watch game tapes together, and his dad tells his dad to critique his game and tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And Lorenzen said, it makes me so happy that I've been able to accomplish so much, but it'll feel a whole lot better when I go to the NBA. That's where I wanted to go and never got to go. Or that's where he wanted to go and never got to go. So if I make it there, I think that would top everything. And Lorenzen's and Herb said that's his dream. That's what we're working for. I'll always be there for him. And if he gets to that point, I'll be more happy for him than he could be for himself. So sure. He says, Herb also says, I study the tapes myself of all of his games, and I tell him things I noticed that he did wrong, which I love. He's just that's what he wants.
Yeah.
So anyway, 1996. NBA draft comes around. Number 1 draft pick, Jimmie, 96.
Was it Sean, the tall, goofy white kid from the 76ers?
'Twas not. Wrong year.
Was it
number 2
Stephon Marbury?
It was not. He was in this draft, though.
Okay.
You are correct. You're honing in on the year. You're
is
getting
it
warmer.
The Grizzlies player?
Nope.
No?
It is Allen Iverson.
Oh, my God.
Number 1 overall. Yep. Allen Iverson, Georgetown to Philly. Number 1 overall.
Who was number 2? Was that the Grizzlies pick?
Marcus Camby going to Toronto with the big cartoon dinosaur on the jersey and everything.
Jizz on the shoulder.
Number 3 is Vancouver.
Okay.
At the time.
Yeah.
Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who
was
a great fucking player.
Yeah, he was.
Number 4, Milwaukee picks Stephon Marbury.
There you go.
Which Milwaukee,
he was traded quickly from there.
He's traded for the number 5 pick for Minnesota, Ray Allen. They did a swappily do there, and I think Minnesota was happy with Milwaukee was happy with getting Ray Allen, and
it's a better pick.
Marbury was good for a few years, and then
it was not Ray Allen.
No, we did his episode.
Yeah.
Number 6, Antoine Walker. Okay. Again, so I mean, this is some heavy hitters in here.
You know what I have of this, James? I bought a bunch of those Upper Deck cards, and I got that lottery card, and I sent it in, and I have all the first-round draft picks cards from this.
Oh, you sent it in? That's so efficient.
I did it. I know.
That's amazing.
What a dork, right?
Wow, I wish I would have done shit like that. I
did it, and I got the 10 top-round draft picks sitting in their fucking hat, in their business suit, all that.
Well, then you'd have the number 7 pick from the L.A. Clippers picks Lorenzen Wright, number 7.
Is that right?
Overall.
I have this card.
You have him right after Antoine Walker. Number 8, Kerry Kittles to the Nets. Samaki Walker to Dallas. Eric Dampier. Vitaly Potapenko. It gets a little thinner until you get to number 13, where Kobe Bryant is drafted there.
Oh, boy, did you guys fuck up.
By Charlotte, but that was all prearranged that he wanted to go.
Really?
The teams wanted to draft him, and he said New Jersey wanted to draft him, and they said that he'll go play in Europe if you draft him, so...
Wow.
He said he'll go play in Europe. His dad played in Italy. He speaks Italian. He'll go play over there and make a fortune. And so they just picked Kerry Kittles instead. Instead of drafting him and trading him, they said, okay, fuck it, and pick Kerry Kittles. And then Charlotte had worked out a thing where they picked Kobe, traded him to L.A. And I think that was Vlade Divac and that whole deal. Yep. Stojakovic, number 14. Number 15, Steve Nash. So just... Sitting out there. Yep, sitting out there. Could have had him. Steve Nash, Jermaine O'Neal in this draft, John Wallace. This is Roy Rogers.
Yeah. Very good players.
This is a decent draft. This is a lot of starting NBA players for a long time. And, he said, I'm a hard worker, Lorenzo, after he's drafted. I'm not Lorenzo. Yeah, Lorenzen.
It's so easy to go with Lorenzo.
Sorry. Yeah, I made him Italian. I apologize. See, it's a Lorenzo Wright. He said, I'm not the type of player who's going to come out and get you 30 points a night, but I'm going to give you 150%. I'm going to run the floor. I'll do the best I can.
Okay. Not
too bad. His dad is obviously proud. He said, the two of us are closer than any father and son I know. And, I'm most definitely proud of him, but you have to understand he's not where I want him to be yet. He's got to be good yet. There. Dad quits his job as the Shelby State Community College coach in Memphis to move to L.A. with Lorenzen.
Okay.
Per Lorenzen's request.
Yeah.
He asked him, He says, and Herb says, I wasn't worried about him on the court, but off the court. That's a big adjustment for a young man. It's important to have a support group. He's done pretty good so far. Yeah, to get first-round draft pick money and he plunk you in L.A. and go, here you go. I mean, you're 20, you're 21. You're asking for a lot of trouble there. I would have gone.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Nuts. That's too much. Yeah, he's 21 years old. Right. I mean, that's where he's going to go out to bars at first. Right. Yeah. You know, like his first legal experiences.
You're send him out on Sunset? You out of your mind?
Wow. Yeah, too young for that. Yeah. And, not really from that environment as well. Memphis is a city, and the barbecue's fine and everything.
It's a party town, but it
ain't fucking L.A.
Right.
It's different. It's a pond and an ocean we're talking about. Just a different thing. So 96-97 Clippers here. They're 36-46.
Yeah, they were.
This is Brent Barry, Kevin Duckworth.
Yeah.
Bo Outlaw.
Yeah.
Eric Pietkowski, Pooh Richardson.
At the end.
And Loy Vaught, Malik Sealy. This is just Rodney Rogers.
That guy's dead too.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Yeah. He was great.
So they end up going to the playoffs, though. That's how weak that was, the West, that year.
Really?
That they go to the playoffs at 36-46.
Okay.
They get swept by the Jazz in the first round, so it doesn't matter. But Lorenzen plays in 77 games, starts 51, 25.1 minutes a game, 7.3 points, and 6.1 rebounds.
Wow.
So, I mean, not dominating like college, but he's 21. So
putting up NBA numbers, too. It's not bad.
He's dominating that bank account, though. He makes $1,480,000 for that year.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, hey now, that's something.
God.
That's good stuff there. 97-98 LA, they're terrible. 17-65.
Oh, shit.
Eating shit.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm impressed they got 17 wins together.
Oof, that is brutal. You have to cobble those together, man. He plays in 69 games, 30 minutes a game. He averages 9 points. 9 points, 8.8 rebounds, 1.3 blocks. So he goes up in everything.
Yeah.
He goes up almost 2 points. He goes up a couple whole rebounds, 2.5 whole rebounds, a little over half a block. He goes up too. So he's improving. $1,701,720 for this season. So
$3 million in his life.
That's awesome.
In 2 years.
He's 22.
Awesome.
98-99 LA this is the strike shortened 50-game season. 9-41 they come in. Not good. They're on pace for pretty much the same fucking record as last year.
Yeah.
Lorenzen plays in 48 games. This year only averages 23.6 minutes, 6.6 points, 7.5 rebounds. So not wonderful. Kind of backslides a little bit, but doesn't backslide in salary. $1,923,000
for half the season.
Right.
That's
for
awesome.
Half the season. That's fucking awesome.
To win 9 games.
To win 9 games and not even play well.
Double-digit games in the season. He got $2 million.
So in the offseason, August 8th, 1999, he is involved in a trade. Here, this is because this is a sign and trade type of or trade and sign type of thing. This is they know that he's not going to sign the Clippers. He decides he wants to go somewhere else, so they set up a trade there type of deal.
Okay.
So he's traded technically by the Clippers to the Atlanta Hawks for a first-round draft pick, which turned out to be Quentin Richardson, and a 2002 first-round draft pick, which was Chris Wilcox. So he said that he was willing to give L.A. a chance. He said he was about to become a free agent, and he said he would give them a fair shot. He said, quote, "I'm a man of my word. I'm going to give the Clippers the first shot, but of course I'm going to shop around." Yeah. So the Clippers offer him 6 years, $30 million. And his agent says, well, why don't you trade him then? Because we're not accepting that. So that's how he becomes a Hawk. And he ends up with a $42 million contract.
Jesus.
Kicking some ass.
And this is where I lost track of him because I didn't know he played for the Hawks.
The Hawks, he goes to Hawks. I think he's Memphis for years, which makes more sense. His father said that he was happy about it because fuck the Clippers, basically.
Also, almost $50 million.
Also, $12 million more dollars. Right. But he knew who Donald Sterling was even back then, before the rest of the world did. The basketball industry knew who he was back then. Everybody knew he was a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
And he said, Clippers owner Donald Sterling treats his players like pieces of real estate. He doesn't understand feelings. So he gets the fuck out of there, goes to Atlanta, where this team, LaFonso Ellis, Bimbo Coles.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be shitty.
Alan Henderson, Jim Jackson, Dikembe Mutombo, at the end.
Very end.
At the end. J.R. Ryder.
Yeah.
Hanging on for dear life, getting arrested all the time.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble already. Forget the end coming close. He's just a problem.
He's just really holding on for dear life as freedom is concerned. Yeah. And then Jason Terry is on the team, actually, also. And they picked him up. Not so bad, and a little younger than Lorenzen even. Mm-hmm. So this year they go 28-54, the Hawks. So not good. Lorenzen, not good. Lorenzen plays in 75 games, starts 0 of them.
Not one.
Well, Mutombo's the starter, so he's not getting a start in front of him. You'd think he'd be hurt or sit down a game or something, but no. It's only 16.1 minutes a game, which is tough. 6 points and 4.1 rebounds per game.
But the point is, learn from Mutombo, because we're paying you enormous amounts of money. You're going to be him after he leaves.
And I feel like maybe that was the plan, is we get him, he learns from Mutombo leaves, he's our guy. He makes $4.4 million this year. Holy shit. That's incredible.
Wow.
Whoa, that is...
I'm very happy for him.
I am thrilled for him. That's a shitload of money.
Yeah.
So November of 2000, he and a couple other players, including Todd Day and somebody else I can't remember here, but there's a crazy story of a 9-year-old boy in Memphis named Travis Butler. Yeah. His mother dies in their home. She had cancer and she just died. And he didn't know what to do and was afraid that they would put him in foster care because his mother was the only one there. And he was so scared of going to foster care, he just pretended like she was alive in the house and lived. He was 9, and he just was scared of foster care. So
I thought you were going to say he wrote a letter to Todd Day and he saved it, but no.
He said, "Dear Todd Day of the Milwaukee Bucks, I know you're from Memphis. Can I have some money?" No, that's not what happened. He went to school. He bought groceries. He made himself macaroni and cheese. He just pretended like everything.
With a dead mom.
held it together for 3 whole days. Held it together until one of the neighbors discovered her body on November 6th. Because the neighbor just kept seeing the kid coming and going and didn't see her. So she was like, "What's going on here?"
He's popping in with laundry detergent.
Yeah, he's like Home Alone. He's coming home and ripping his grocery bag.
Bags are ripped on. He's got coupons falling out of his pockets.
Why are you buying all? What's going on here? These aren't baseball cards. So 2000, 2001. Oh, anyway, this kid ends up having all of this shit go on, and they hear about it. Todd Day, Lorenzen Wright, they start a fund to support this kid and have a whole fund for this kid so he doesn't end up
in the 90s.
This is 2000. This happened.
Unbelievable.
It's so Lorenzen, good guy.
Yeah.
And that we'll talk about it, but he is exceedingly generous. Like his friends say, anyone comes around him with their hand out, it's filled. He'll give it to them. Anybody's welcome to be at his house. All of his friends said it's like Disneyland at his house. He's got all sorts of anything you want, anything anybody needs.
He's made $10 million.
Yeah. And he's a real nice guy. You can chip somebody
off $20 or $40 when you got $10 million.
Yeah, the problem is it's more than that with a lot. As it becomes more and more, he's got a lot more family and cousins and friends, and he starts having to give everybody jobs. He's happy to do so. One of his friends is a driver. One of his friends does this. One of his friends does that.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of people on the payroll here, and the problem is that you don't play basketball forever.
Right. And that's expensive as fuck.
It's expensive to support a bunch of people, not even they're working for it, but still you're giving them jobs so they have jobs that pay good money, not because you really need that guy to do something for you. You'd rather give it to your friend than somebody else. That's all. So 2000-2001, Atlanta goes 25-57. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
This is bad. 71 games played. He starts 46 this year, 28 minutes a game. This year, he averages 12.4 points, 7.5 rebounds. So, okay, but he's contributing, but you'd like at least a double-double out of the guy if he's going to start at center.
Yeah.
You'd like, 15 and 10 or something if he's going to be that kind of guy. He also grows a nice fro this year.
Really?
He has a good fro this year going on. And his dad, though, didn't like it at all. His dad said, quote, he needs a lawnmower, is what he told the paper. Not even a haircut, a lawnmower.
Very funny, yeah.
He makes $4,950,000 that year, so he can afford all the lawn care products he desires.
Yeah, he is stacking paper.
Amazing. June 27th, 2001, traded by the Atlanta Hawks, traded with Pau Gasol, by the way.
Really?
And Brevin Knight to the Vancouver Grizzlies, who will be moving to Memphis next year and are looking for ways to connect with the city. If you're coming from Vancouver and your colors are like, fucking teal and shit or whatever they are.
Some weird fucking green.
Yeah, it's really difficult to figure that out. So they needed something to connect locally, and they got Lorenzen Wright, who the local fans know. And so they get it's for Sharif Abdur-Rahim and Jamal Tinsley. So it's
Atlanta got them, huh?
Yeah, Atlanta got them, and they got Pau Gasol and Brevin Knight and Lorenzen. So 2001, 2002 in Memphis, a friend of his who was from Memphis and ends up getting a job on the Grizzlies security staff. Lorenzen gets him a job. That's the other thing. He finds his friends jobs anywhere he can because now he has connections. He's a good dude. He really is. And we'll talk. His crew is loyal to him. They have tattoos and everything. You'll see.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's not like a Nexium situation. It's not like next to their cock or anything. It's
And Mike Bibby's family and friends and his crew have Team Dime tattooed all over him because he was number 10. Yeah. Team Dime, James.
This is different.
Douchey.
This is I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. This will be good.
All right.
His friend Dennis Neal says, quote, he was the face of Memphis. He wasn't as big as Penny Hardaway was, but that made him kind of bigger here because people had an opportunity to see him and touch him and play with him and do all those things. Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Come on. You can't say they have an opportunity to see, touch, and play with him. That sounds like there's his cock. Oh, wow, it's rock hard. I'm going to knock it around for a while and see if anything comes out.
Also, he's a human being. Let's treat him as such. You guys are treating him like a fucking sideshow.
Well, he says
play
that
with him.
You can do all those things you couldn't do with Penny because he was in New York or Phoenix doing commercials. So he was away and like a national star because he had the little penny and all that shit.
Right.
So, and Lorenzen wasn't. Lorenzen was Mr. Memphis, still there. This team, by the way, at this point has Nick Anderson left over from the Magic there. This is pushing. He's pushing it here.
This is actual leftovers.
Christ almighty. Yeah, he's in his mid-30s here. This is pushing it for a guard.
They could have called this team the Memphis two-day lawn lasagna. Like it's not the whole team is just 7 layers of shit.
The pasta's like really crunchy on the outsides, but not like from the oven.
Yeah.
It's dried out now.
It's from the fridge.
Like it had like a part of it wasn't covered and air got in there, and it's really that part's hard.
You got to spritz that with water when you put it in the microwave to get that soft again.
Big time. Yeah, put some wet paper towel over it. So Nick Anderson, Shane Battier, Michael Dickerson, Pau Gasol, of course, Brevin Knight, Elliot Perry, remember him from the Suns?
Stop it! What year is this?
2003.
Wow.
2001, 2002. Sorry,
I can't believe he played that long.
I can't either. He's a Memphis guy too. He went to Memphis as well.
Really?
So yeah, that's why they got him. Stromile Swift. Oh my God. And Jason Williams, white Jason Williams.
Okay, yeah.
So
how much did they win, James?
Non-murderer Jason Williams. 23-59 they went that year.
I'm stunned.
which is better than those fucking Clipper teams he was on.
But I'm shocked they were that good.
Yeah, no shit. He plays in 43 games, starts 33, 29.1 minutes a game, averages 12 points, 9.4 rebounds.
All right.
We're pushing a double-double now at this moment. That's great. And that's a half a block, so that's not wonderful. But this is wonderful. $5.5 million.
Oh, in Memphis money. That's so much money.
Oh, in Tennessee, that goes a long fucking way.
It does.
We're not even making fun of Tennessee. We will, but we're not, in this particular case, making fun of Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's just, it goes a long way there. This isn't L.A.,
Fantastic.
you know?
Yeah.
Much better. So Lorenzen opens up a sports bar, which is always a terrible decision for an athlete.
Bad move.
1 out of 30 of those end up working out. Most of the time, it's just a place for people to rob you blind.
And not just that, it's
under an
opening
LLC.
And it's opening yourself up to so many lawsuits because of the fucking alcohol license. That's nuts.
It's a tough thing. Plus, it's just the bar business is a hard business.
Yeah.
You kind of have to. Players think, well, I go to a lot of bars.
Right.
Every time I'm in
partying,
I know about bars. I know what a good bar entails, but you have to work in that industry for a long time. It's not something you just can.
When your product is liquid, you can't just put notches on the bottle to, things have to be measured right per every drink to make any money.
And everything with the atmosphere, the environment, everything has to be perfect here. He would buy Grizzlies tickets for all his families and friends as well, because he would get a certain allotment, but then he'd have to buy more. So he's buying tons of tickets. He's buying everybody everything. He's buying homes and cars for people.
Oh, no.
Not, mansions, but places for people to live, paying for friends and relatives to go to college. He's got college funds coming out of his asshole. If you want to go to college, and you go to Lorenzen, hey, I need to go to college, I don't have any money, you're going to college. He's not going to, he's going to tell you, well, I'll pay for you to go to fucking college. So tries to help people. He bought shoes for high school teams in the city. He went around looking for ones that needed new sneakers and bought the whole team, fucking shoes.
That's awesome.
He underwrote a youth league. A lot of this is write-offs too, but it's still a nice way to do these write-offs. You could do them a lot of ways. And he did a lot. So he said everybody liked him. Elliot Perry said everyone loved him. Quote, poll people in Memphis from his teammates in high school to the NBA, and they'll tell you the same thing. Ren was fantastic. This big guy with this humble spirit. So, grace.
Yeah.
Let's just say grace right here.
You're right with the write-offs bit, too, because and you can tell that he cares because anybody can write a $1,500 check and send it to the United Way or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
He's going straight to the team and getting making his dollar go to exactly what he wants it to go to with the shoes. Yeah. That's brilliant.
Kids in Memphis trying to play basketball and go to school and shit. So good. Yeah, he's a fucking, by all accounts, there's nothing really bad you could say about Lorenzen until later on when there's some gray area here, but there's no and then he beat up that stripper that time in the room, and then she accused him and 3 teammates of fucking gangbanging her against her will. None of that shit happens with Lorenzen, so
that's great.
That's helpful.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
So, Grace, 2002-2003 Memphis, they're not much better, 28-54 this year, so pretty shitty. He plays in 70 games, starts 49, 28.3 minutes a game, 11.4 points, and 7.5 rebounds. So, seems to have a ceiling of what he's going to accomplish in terms of the league here. He's a 12-point, 10 to 12 point, 7 to 9 rebound guy. That's just what he is. Now, L. John Wertheim, that author that writes a lot of sports shit, he wrote the incredible scorecasting book that I talk about all the time that has all the psychological things in sports in it. He does an article about him, and he said that when he met him, Wright was eager to introduce him to his whole posse, is what he called him. His friend called him the Michael Jordan of posses. He said he's got a whole team, and there's a picture, like professional photographer, that looks like the cover of a Bone Thugs album or something. It's like
it's just him and his crew.
It's him in a chair, like a big chair, not a throne, but like a big giant chair that a 7-foot man would have, to sit in.
It'd be a throne for me, yeah.
With a little dog, not a tiny dog, but a little dog down by his feet, and like 8 of his friends standing around him in album cover poses, pretty much.
Jesus
Christ. Hand in a pocket, one over here. One's got like a football jersey on. One's got like the whole velour sweatsuit. Yeah. Like it looks like an album cover. And that's on purpose. Like you can tell, but it's like on a hill, like in a grassy thing. Like it's a trip, man.
It would have
That's
been
his
on
crew.
Instagram today.
Oh, absolutely. They had this professionally done. They went out to a place and they all stood in the this is definitely done professionally because that's his crew. They all have matching tattoos that say the right stuff.
W-R.
W-R-I-G-H-T. That's their crew, the Right Stuff crew. They all have the same tat.
Wow.
The Right Stuff.
That's a dumbass tattoo.
Oh, indeed.
Yes. That is awful.
My God, not cool.
They all better be thankful that his last name was not Tough.
Yeah, no shit. And they told this to a Sports Illustrated reporter. Everybody was showing off. It was pretty funny. I think that was what the picture was from this article that he wrote. Yeah. So they didn't go to have it professionally done. A professional photographer came and said, let's take a shot of that crew there.
Oh, Lorenzen.
Yup.
Fucking assholes.
He said that Raw Dog is one of his friends. How the...
He's got a friend named Raw Dog.
I tried to hold back. But
that is so great.
I'm an Italian guy from New York. All my friends had nicknames growing up. I don't know anybody's real name. Everybody's got, and we're talking everything from shit bags to this to that, all these different nicknames. Raw Dog, though?
Yeah.
We had I knew one guy, he had 11 children. He was 24 years old. And I said, holy fuck, how the fuck do you have 11 kids when you're 24 years old? And he said, because I like that unprotected. That was the way he said it. So we called him unprotected. But
Raw Dog is what you call that guy.
Raw
These
Dog.
are my friends Raw Dog and Bareback over here.
Raw Dog, unprotected, and Bareback. Raw Dog, unprotected, Bareback, and must have had a hole in it. I don't know. They're all here. Must have torn. This is my buddy Must have torn.
Must have torn, and that's damn it. Damn it, Broke will be right back.
Yeah, damn it, Broke is he's parking the car right now. He's got to feed the meter. So
we got another buddy named Whoops.
Whoopsie. No, and that's forget my pill. Where are you? Forgot my pill. I can't find forgot my pill. Where are you at?
She said she couldn't afford Plan B is on his way. I know it's wordy, but we like him.
Lives in Texas? Where the fuck is that? Where's she at? Where's my boy?
Holy fuck! How do you even land on raw? That's got to be what it is, right?
Raw dog. Yeah.
There's no other way to.
I mean, yeah, raw dog. No, he's a raw foods enthusiast, Jimmy. He's very much into seeds and green vegetables.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
We caught him shopping at Whole Foods, so we call him Raw Dog.
Yeah, like, what's up, Raw Dog? We just called him Dog before that, and they're like, oh, he likes it raw. What's up, Raw Dog? He likes oysters.
He is
that's what it is.
Banging chicks with no rubber. That's what he is.
Bragging about it.
Wow.
He's the guy where you're like, you need a condom? He's like, hell no. Like, we all know that guy. Where every crew of guys has that guy where you're like, why? Why are you doing this? Stop the spread of whatever you have.
Just to drink and watch them be idiots. Because this has got to be stupidity all
and
day.
And warn every woman they talk to. So the Raw Dog was the point guard on the high school team, the Booker T. Washington team.
Hilarious.
I wonder if that was on his jersey. Raw Dog. So they had a deal that if one of them blew up, they would look out for the other one. If one of them did their thing, and I think Raw Dog knew he was getting the better end of that deal, probably. Yeah. One of them 6'11", and the other one 6'1", going, if one of us makes it, I'm not saying who it's going to be, but if either of us make it, it's going to take care of the other one, right? Right?
Smart move.
Yeah. Right? So he still, his driver is there. That's Raw Dog is the driver. Raw Dog drives for him now, and he's there mainly to make sure that Herb gets to the Grizzlies games. That's his job, is take my dad to the basketball games. He's got a cook there to offset his love of a greasy Southern diet that he likes. He is from Mississippi and Memphis. What do you want? And then his buddy Dennis McNeil is his security guy. And then he has one guy in his crew who his job that he gets a paycheck for is to wake Lorenzen up at 9:15 in the morning.
What a job!
Wow,
that just means you've got to be up at least 9:14.
Yeah, you're like,
so
oh
easy.
shit, it's 9:12. Yo, Ren, get up or I'm sending Raw Dog in here. You know you don't want that. It's going to get messy quick.
I'm sending him again. You better watch out.
It's going to get messy fast. So, man, Wright said he saw it as his duty to elevate as many of his friends and family from Memphis as possible. He says, quote, I want them to share in some of my success.
It's so nice.
That success includes this season earning $6,050,000. Holy shit. So he's got a lot of success to share is the thing. Something very, very terrible here. His daughter Simone, at 11 months old, dies of SIDS in 2003, which is fucking terrible. We've talked about this on the show before. The scariest thing in the world. Both of us, I remember us discussing, I used to check my kids every 15 minutes to make sure they're still breathing. I'd get down at their level and go, okay, moving up and down. Okay, that's good. I did that constantly. This is the scariest thing. I didn't want to.
One of the nights I slept on a Babies R Us rug out front of that fucking crib.
God.
It was
absolutely.
My neck was fucked up for quite some time because of that kid.
Yeah, and SIDS is just, it happens. There's no this kid's in danger of SIDS. We know the symptoms. They are, is the baby alive? No. Is it supposed to be? Yes. Those are the symptoms.
That's it.
That's SIDS.
Diagnosed.
It's fucking horrible. Diagnosed. It's fucking horrible. Scary shit. So that's awful. Sierra, and good God, that must have crushed everybody. The whole family there. And his wife says, quote, I don't think Lorenzen ever recovered from it. I dug into my spiritual grounding, and Lorenzen didn't have that to dig into. Okay. So she said he always was tough, and he started like a fund for parents who've gone through this and shit. He's a nice guy. 2003, 2004, the team is 50-32.
First time ever over 40 wins? Look at him.
Coming around Memphis. Yeah. They go all the way to the playoffs where they are swept by the Spurs in the first round. But the Spurs were doing very well back then, so what do you want? Lorenzen, 65 games, 46 started, 25.8 points, 9.4 points per game, 25.8 minutes per game, 9.4 points per game, 6.8 rebounds. So not terrific, but $6.6 million.
Fuck.
That's absolutely terrific. That is great. Now, sometime in this era, he and She-Ra split up and then end up reconciling and renewing their vows and recommitting themselves. And a lot of that, from what everybody said, was just the whole thing that happened with the daughter dying. Yeah. It just put a lot of stress on their whole situation, and that happens. It's so common. It's a lot for people to go through together, and I
can't imagine that does wonders for your sex life. I'm sure it makes the home real gloom. And then you got Raw Dog over here talking about how great it feels to put your dick in.
Yeah, how great it is to indiscriminately spread his seed throughout the southern region, throughout western Tennessee.
Yeah, goddamn Raw Dog around all the time.
God damn it. Shut up, Raw Dog. That's enough out of you. God damn it.
Gonna ruin my marriage.
They're ruining the whole fucking thing. So they end up, like I said, reconciling, renewing their vows. Yeah. Everything's fine. 2004, 2005, they go 45-37.
Another good
season.
Look
at the Grizzlies make the playoffs again, where they are swept by the Suns immediately. So
bounced right away.
He can't be on a team that wins a playoff game, but they can get there. He plays in 80 games this year, starts 77. So that's
You're right. He's never
never won a playoff game.
Playoffs.
Just lose every game.
3 times.
That's so brutal, right?
Wow.
So starts 77 games this year, which is that's a starter. 28.6 points. And how does he perform? 9.6 points, 7.7 rebounds.
He's mad consistent, James.
He's consistent. That's his game, man. That's just all there is to it. What isn't consistent is his money, because it keeps going up and up.
Yeah,
$7,150,000 that season. Not too fucking shabby.
Yeah.
2005, 2006, again with Memphis. He 49-33 that season. Okay. They go, so again, pretty well. They go to the playoffs. I'll give you one guess, Jimmy.
Is it the Lakers?
Swept by the Mavs. There you go.
Swept by the Mavs.
But they are swept.
And it's not the same teams. He just shows up to the playoffs, plays a new team every time. They beat the living shit out of him.
Can't win a game. They go back to Memphis. That's it.
And if you think about the centers that he's facing in those teams, like this is Nowitzki. He was playing. He was playing.
Suns didn't have a center,
Duncan.
but they had Stoudemire playing in the middle back then, which was tough. I mean,
playing
he wasn't a
Duncan
traditional
with the
center.
Spurs.
Oh yeah,
just
that's
getting
tough.
his ass kicked by some of the best centers that they had.
Getting schooled, man, and he's not that like nowadays a 6'11" guy doesn't have to go and bang around down low. He can sometimes, but if he's got an outside shot, he can spread the floor like that, and that'll also be helpful. But back then, they were like, you don't shoot outside 15 feet, you fucking 6'11" asshole. Get down there. What are you doing?
You think you are, Akeem?
Yeah, you're going to ruin this whole thing.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. Well, stop it. Yeah, Akeem with those baseline, 20-foot baseline fadeaways. And you're like,
what?
Oh, my God. That's not natural. It's amazing.
Did he just square up at the 3? And it's in? What?
What the fuck, man? Impressive. They're swept by the Mavs. And this year, 78 games he plays in, 58 games started, 21.7 minutes per game, 5.8 points a game, 5.1 rebounds. Yikes. That is not good. But he makes $7,700,000 though for that season. So God,
man.
Damn,
NBA was lucrative as shit for mediocrity.
Still is. If you're 6'11", you are going to make money, period. That's just, if you can get drafted in the first round as a 6'11" human being, you're going to make some money. On the end of a bench somewhere, just some late game size, your 5 fouls they can use, that
career,
sort of
he's
shit.
over $30 million at this point. That's insane.
It's wild. August 30th, 2006. He's a free agent now, though.
Okay.
He is signed with the Atlanta Hawks as a free agent.
Oh, they bring him back.
And they bring him back. Everybody likes him. That's the thing about him. I mean, he's the type of guy where they go, what a great guy. So why not give him another shot? If they go 30-52 this year, they stink again. He plays 67 games, starts 31, only 15.4 minutes a game, though. So he's sparsely playing. Averages, you ready for this, Jimmy? 2.6 points, 3.2 rebounds a game. Holy shit.
Useless.
Yeah, wow. Salary, $3,250,000, though, which is...
That's so awesome.
It's a cut, but it's a lot for that.
He's getting 1.5 per point, James.
That's amazing. That's incredible, isn't it?
Wow.
I have to think I could average 2 points a game if you let me play once in a while. I have to think I'd hit one shot, right?
I think that I would get fouled at least twice, and I could probably get... I'll bet I'm getting 3 points a game. I think I could shoot 75% from the free throw line.
I would hope so, yeah. That's all, because they're going to hack me just in terms of trying to take the ball from me because they know I'm not up to snuff. So if I can just cover up, I feel like I'm getting hacked at least once or twice. I can pull this off. So, $3,250,000. 2007-2008 season, February 16th, 2008, right at the trade deadline, he is traded by the Hawks with a shitload of other people here. Anthony Johnson, Tyrone Lue, Sheldon Williams, they all get traded, and a draft pick to the Sacramento Kings for Mike Bibby.
Is that right?
Just Mike Bibby, yep.
All that trash for you, sir.
Yeah. I picture them pulling up in like the Beverly Hillbillies car when they pull up, like, here's all the people we didn't want. And
Tyrone Lue in the fucking granny's rocker.
With a banjo in his hand or something, just pulling up. We're here.
We're going to trade you this douche crew for this douche crew. You got Mike Bibby and all of his team dime for the right stuff.
Oh, my God, that's right. Different crews are crossing each other.
That's amazing.
My goodness. So this year total for both teams, he plays in 18 games, starts 1, averages 8.9 minutes per game for a total of 0.8 points and 2.1 rebounds a game.
What?
Under a point a game. For Sacramento, he played in 5 games and averaged 0.4 points a game.
That is incredible.
I don't know how.
100% useless. They didn't even use him.
Fucking awful. That's just so bad. He makes $3,250,000 though for that. It's just a move, just to keep relocating
and get $3 million.
Wow. So I mean, he is 6'11", though. They're like, stand there and be 6'11". Can you do that?
It's worth $3 million a year at minimum.
September 5th, 2008, he signs as a free agent with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh.
Absolutely. This is the LeBron is on this team, and oh my God, Wally Zerbiak. I forgot all about
Kevin
him.
Love is there. This is
Jesus
a great team.
Christ. Is Love here yet? Love's not here yet.
No?
No. Ilgauskas is here.
Oh.
It's that team still. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's right before that. Ben Wallace is on this team.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. This is that Delonte West.
Oh, yeah.
He was still that poor bastard. Jesus. We both said that poor bastard. Jesus.
He has had so much goodwill thrown at him, and he throws it right back. He was just arrested again.
Yeah, he was doing better. Mark Cuban was bragging about him. I'm helping him out, and then
got him in a
back
treatment center, and now he's like living on a canoe or some shit.
Yeah, we have to. I think it's a kayak, Jimmy. Let's be fair to the guy. It's a kayak. So
it's not good for him.
No, we have to. That's going to be an episode, sadly. So, this year they go 66-16.
Okay.
Go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lose to the Magic in that one. Remember that weird year the Magic made the finals? I was like, what the fuck?
Tracy McGrady was there, right? That was a good team, right?
I guess, yeah. It was just weird. It was like they were just popped up one year.
Yeah.
That was what's his name had a really good year. God damn it, I can't remember now.
Don't look at me.
Fucking 15 years ago. Anyway, 17 games.
Oh, Dwight Howard. You're right.
Dwight Howard, yeah, but I was thinking of somebody else too, though. Dwight Howard, the guard. God damn it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 17 games he plays for Cleveland. Starts 2, 7.4 minutes a game. He breaks a point at least, 1.4 points and 1.5 rebounds per game.
Boy, oh boy.
He makes $1,262,275 for that season.
Just run out the clock and make at least $1 million a year. That's so great.
that's going to be it for Lorenzen for his career.
Okay.
He talks later on about maybe playing overseas. Israel is knocked around a little bit. He plays in 778 games, 447 started, 23.8 minutes per game for a total of 8 points per game and 6.4 rebounds per game. Yeah. So not the career probably that he was hoping for, but the bank account he's hoping
Bank of
for.
America.
Because his career earnings, Jimmy, you ready for this? Hold on to your fucking britches here.
60 what?
$55,216,995.
Wow.
That is crazy. That's so
unbelievable.
Much that is awesome.
Oh my God, that's so much money.
It's a lot of fucking money. It really is. And that kind of he's done after the 2009 season, and so that's mid 2009.
Yeah.
By February 3rd, 2010. He and Shira are divorced.
Oh, no.
So this is the most common thing in sports is when the players are done, they end up getting divorced because they've never been home.
Right.
Now they're home. People realize, we don't get along when we have to see each other more than fucking, a couple months out of the year.
Right.
You're annoying. You're annoying. This is bullshit. I didn't know you did dumb shit like that. Well, what the fuck do you? Not good. So they get divorced. And, his friend Mike Gibson said Gipson, Gibson.
Oh.
He said that you just thought I said it weird, right? Yeah,
no, I almost asked because it's very specific. It is. The poor bastard gets called Mike Gibson all day, every day.
Yeah, no,
Gip with a P.
Gip.
I know, I hate it.
Like Lipson, but Gibson. He said that Lorenzen told me the marriage ended because he didn't trust Shira anymore, and she felt the same about him. But they were still going to try to find a way to raise these kids. That's what he said. And his other friend said, I think what happened to the marriage was that they grew apart. So, I mean, they've been together since he was 17 years old.
Right.
He met her and then went to chemistry class. Like, that's not fucking normal.
And then he showed up and they talked to each other, and then they both found out that they both slept with other people in the past times that we've all been apart so much. And they're like, well, I don't trust you. Well, I don't trust you either. Well, we should trust each other because now we're in each other's face.
She's like, you fucked other women in these cities. And he's like, well, you fucked Isaac Hayes. How the fuck do I think every goddamn time I can't watch South Park now?
And now
what am I supposed to do
dog.
here? No. Raw Dog, get in here. Raw Dog, I've had it up to here with your Raw Dog ways. You're out of here, mister.
Stay out of my wife.
Quit Raw Dogging everyone in my house. So very few people get away from the wrath of Raw Dog. Very few. Everybody's got at least one damp pant leg when Raw Dog's around. So... Shira, once the marriage breaks up, Shira alleges that she was a victim of domestic violence during the marriage, and that during the marriage, Lorenzen was, as she put it, quote, juggling his women, saying he had a woman in every city and, was living the professional athlete lifestyle, basically. She said, though, it wasn't the violence or even the fucking around that doomed the marriage, though. Because, she can look past all that, apparently. She said, you have to understand that as an NBA player, you're subjected to a certain amount of theft and violence. Okay? She said, people see you as this bigger than life, this is so weird, as this bigger than life person, so you have to be careful who you bring into your surroundings. Lorenzen was kind of carefree in that area, and I was a little different. I possessed a spirit of disconcernment, so I could discern whether a person was a person who I wanted to be around or not. And when things started to get to the point where I didn't know or I felt uncomfortable, I finally left. Okay. So she says Lorenzen would hang out with anybody. That's her reason why, which that seems like 30 notches down the infraction line from beating and cheating. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's like 1 and 2, and then that's like reason 46. Like, I don't like that one friend he hangs out with. Okay, that can be worked out.
Yeah, but it's also like a perpetual loop of beating and cheating, because if he's just letting people in his orbit, some of those are not dudes, you know what I mean? And they're all true. They're just people that are latching on for whatever reason. She can't take it. She's not cut out for the life that he's willing to live, and that's she's right. They don't.
That's the truth. No, if no one's happy here. And so Wright in court is ordered, this is child support and alimony, total $26,000 a month.
Oh, my God.
That's a lot of fucking money.
For so long, James.
That is a lot. I mean, there are 6 kids involved here.
Yeah.
And alimony,
and her salary.
And her, yeah. Well, this is 2009, so yeah, even his oldest is only fucking 14 at this point. So he has got 26 G's a month in child support. He falls behind pretty much immediately.
I'm sure.
After a couple months, he falls behind on his payments. Yeah. He's in financial peril right now.
Oh, boy.
He has $1 million home in Atlanta and another one in suburban Memphis, both in the process of being foreclosed upon and repossessed as well.
In the middle of the housing crisis.
Yeah, because who knows what his mortgage system was like. So he can't sell it.
Yeah.
So he's just fucked at that moment in time. Income has stopped, gone from $7 million to $3 million to $1 million to Ugats now. Yeah. So it ain't good. Houses fucking being repossessed. Over the next few months, he's basically miserable. Yeah. By 2010 in the summer, he's living in Atlanta with his friend Gibson there. With Gibson, just kind of hanging out there, trying to figure out his next move. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. His ex-wife is in Memphis with the kids, obviously. And Gibson, though, said that Lorenzen still had what he called an intimate relationship with Shira. Okay. They still talked and saw each other and got fucking and all that kind of type of shit from what he said. One weekend while he was living in Atlanta, Lorenzen flew home to Memphis to go to his daughter's dance recital and his sister's baby shower. Okay. So he was going, then he was going to come back to Atlanta. He called a friend of his, the Dotson guy, and arranged them to hang out. And, this is July 19th, 2010. He says, completely unexpected out of the blue, this is Dotson. He calls me and says, "Hey, bud, I'm in town. Let's hang out." So he comes over. We're kicking back. We're relaxing, smoking cigars on the patio. And he said they're just hanging. Later on that evening, Dotson says that Shira called Lorenzen and demanded that I guess Lorenzen had his son over there, demanded that he bring the kid home right now. Bring my son home right now. So Dotson says, quote, and he was like, "Okay, all right, fine. I don't want to argue with you." Quote, so we drove to the house, and when we pull up to the house, he said, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in here and calm her down. I'll call you later, and we can hang out again.
Okay.
So that's what he said that night. So his friend Dotson drove away and left him at the house with Shira and the kids. Pissed off Shira, presumably, to, reconcile the situation. So that night, Shira will later say that he didn't leave the house, Lorenzen, until about 2:00 in the morning.
Okay.
And that night, and she said that he left with what she called, quote, a box of drugs, which is I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
Those two things put together.
Yeah.
It's a box of drugs, man. I picture like a moving box, and there's like, it's sticking out of the top, like kilos and shit.
It's got packing tape on it, and it's labeled Ren's drugs.
Like when people get fired on a sitcom and they're in the elevator with their box with like a plant and
Open
some shit. Like a plant and a stapler and like that kind of shit. Stick pictures of their kids. That's what he's got.
Plant and and a scale.
A little kilo of Coke there, a little something there.
Or it's probably a cigar box that's got weed in it, or some whatever else. Yeah.
And he also said she said he had a bunch of money, and he said he had to go flip something.
Oh.
That was what it was here. So, has to go flip something is what he says. Now,
really
Dotson never hears from Lorenzen again. He doesn't call back that night. He only makes one phone call that night, as a matter of fact, later on that night, and that is to 911. Lorenzen calls. Lorenzen calls Germantown, Tennessee 911. That's the 911 that picked up the dispatch of it. 911, all you hear is 911 dispatch, and you hear him say, "God damn!" Like, what the fuck is going? Like, God damn, something's weird's happening. Followed by somewhere between 9 and 11 gunshots.
Oh my God!
Depending on echoes. Now, you don't hear anything else said from his end of the phone the rest of the call after the first gunshot. You just hear pop, 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 little space, pap, 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 pap. I mean, it's a lot of shots. Over this, the dispatcher's repeatedly saying, hello, 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 over hail of gunfire. You know what I mean? So all this gunfire, and the dispatcher then says, all I hear is gunshots, you hear her say, like saying to like like the person working next to her, I'm just hearing gunshots. Yeah, like all I'm hearing is gunshots. I can't get any
information out of this asshole. It's just gunfire.
It's gunshot. That's a problem, gunfire. Yeah. So they basically, the call disconnects. She disconnects from it, and that's that.
Yeah.
She does not give the phone call to her, doesn't tell her supervisor about it for a week. This dispatcher.
Week? And she heard gunfire?
11 gunshots after a guy said, God damn, and then didn't answer after 11 gunshots.
Wow.
After a week, the local police, that 911 center, they try to trace the call, and they're unsuccessful because to do that, you have to you can either trace it or you can get the records and find the tower pings and all that kind of shit. So that's what they end up doing. They pass it off to Memphis police. 8 days later, Memphis police get this. Holy 8 days after this is when they first hear about it. They had no fucking idea. So later on that night of July 19th, the night that he left, neighbors note that night, Shira and a male acquaintance unknown to the neighbor ignited a bonfire in the backyard fire pit of her house there. And the neighbor said, quote, I thought it was strange because it was like one of the hottest days of the year.
Yeah.
This is mid-July in Memphis. No bonfire. It's fucking hot. We know that. In Phoenix, in all summer, you don't light a fire. There's no. It's hot enough already. Christ,
crawl in the freezer.
So that's what she says. Very weird thing. Fires burning in a big bonfire in the backyard. Some strange guy there. So no one hears from Lorenzen again. No one hears from anything. July 22nd comes around. 3 days later, no one has heard from Lorenzen. His mom, Deborah, says, quote, I kept calling him all day and he didn't answer the phone. This is what I told her, talking about the wife. Shira, where is he? You need to let us know. She's constantly saying about other women and he's probably with some other women. Well, I don't know. He's always fucking around. Who knows where he is? Meanwhile, Deborah Marion, who is his mom, said that no calls unanswered, texts go unreturned. She's not having this shit. So on July 22nd, she files a missing persons report with the Memphis Police Department and tells police when she files a report, quote, when you all find him, it's not going to be good. That's what she tells him because she has a bad feeling about this. And she knows every day that passes, it's worse and worse. Yeah. Lorenzen's not disappearing. He's not the type of guy who's not going to call his dad or his mom.
No,
he's not.
He's got college to pay for people.
He's got a lot going on here. So July 28th, 2010 is when Memphis police finally are able to trace the 911 call, where it came from. Think about that. That's 10 days later.
Terrible.
So they go to the location, dogs, everything here. I mean, it's through a barbed wire fence that's parted, tumbleweed, shitloads of grass. It's near a golf course, actually. There's a golf course. There's a cul-de-sac with big homes nearby and all this shit. All this type of shit. One of the investigators said, unless you've been here, there's no telling what's out here. All this high grass and all kinds of shit like that. And in this area, they find Lorenzen.
Oh, no.
They find him, and he is in the woods. He's been out in the sweltering 100-degree and 100% humidity Memphis heat for 10 days.
Wow.
What do you think
that's
he's like right now? We'll talk about exactly how much is left because it's fucking Halloween gross, man.
Really?
One of the investigators, this is one of just a resident who lived near there, said, quote, that was no robbery. Someone was trying to get rid of that dude.
Yeah.
And we'll find out why, too. He has a very expensive watch on, like his NBA player watch on, his gold chain on, with he's got 30 grand worth of jewelry on him.
Right.
That no one took from him. So that ain't a robbery.
Yeah.
That's a fucking hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, That's bad. They considered filing a civil suit against the Germantown police, and they end up doing that, actually, for the delay in the reporting.
Fucked up.
Yeah. So 10 days after it goes by, they talk to Shira again. She says he left home carrying money and a box of drugs. That's all she knows. She said that he left her home at 10:30 p.m. with the drugs, returned a short time later, then left again with an unspecified amount of money. Over $100,000, it said, though. Yeah, and left then. Before he left, Shira Wright said she overheard him on the phone telling someone that he was going to, quote, flip something for $110,000. Mm-hmm. That's what she said. She said that, Lorenzen left the home in a car with a person that she did not know, could not identify. And, hours later, obviously, they get the 911 call and he's missing. And, she tells police also that her ex-husband here, Lorenzen, owned a shotgun that he kept at her home and a handgun he kept inside the family van. And they searched around for them and couldn't find either weapon.
Both are gone.
Both are gone. When they find him, the decomposition is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unfucking real.
It is fascinating how fast a body will go away. We go back to the earth pretty quick. The muscles and that stuff. I mean, the bones stick around for quite some time, but the stuff that identifies you as a person goes away so fast. You don't have to burn it.
No, it goes. We'll talk about it, but it's callus cutoff. It's called. It's an area that they said really only locals would know, and it's kind of to know this area to dump it. They said that he weighed 245 pounds. He's 6'11". When they found him, he weighed 57 pounds.
Holy
that's how much.
shit.
That's how much decomposition.
That's
200 pounds in 10 days. That's unbelievable. There was rain, heat, scavenging animals. Obviously, there's no funeral. There's no open casket clearly there.
Right.
We're going closed casket on this one, boys. So the mother came to the site when they found him. She came there. The police tape had already been up. She had to be restrained physically from crossing the police line by officers. She said that Deborah said, quote, she said that it's a good thing she wasn't wearing running shoes because, quote, ain't no way she could have caught me. She said, she don't know me. I'm from Mississippi, baby. I don't know what that means. I guess Mississippians are fast is what she's getting at.
She's going to run. What's she going to run to? She's going to run to the body?
Run to the body. She wanted to be the first one there. So obviously there is... Immediately they look at people around him, his friends, his wife, his ex-wife. He just got divorced. He owes money on all this type of shit. Also, he's got $1 million life insurance policy on him that his wife and kids are the beneficiary of. So tons of people, hundreds of people come to the crime scene. Hundreds, including Penny Hardaway is there even.
What the fuck is he going to do?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Wendy Wilson, who's a former personal assistant to Lorenzen, is also there, and she told the police to look hard at the ex-wife, is what she said. She said that later she claimed to have voice recordings of Shira threatening Lorenzen if she found him with another woman. And he said, there you go. So they were turned over to the Memphis police, is what she said. This is fucking terrible, man. This whole thing is... Jesus Christ. She also, now Shira's got other stories too. She now tells investigators that he apparently took the shotgun and the pistol with him when he left. Mm-hmm. That's why it's not here. He must have taken the guns with him, which, she also now tells detectives for the first time, and they've been talking to her for, a week, that 2 men had come to her house 5 weeks earlier in a car with Florida license plates looking for Lorenzen.
Yeah.
And they look serious, like serious guys, like they were. Yeah, exactly. Like what's the guy with the,
in his mouth and shit.
No, I was thinking.
I'm just thinking of Florida rapper.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, do Florida rap. Good God. Florida's bad enough. Throw a rapper in. A Florida rapper is a bad thing. No Florida rappers. Sorry, no. Every rap is about how you've made bad decisions in your choice of places to live. That should be your only thing you're rapping about.
That's essentially what Ice Ice Baby is about. Have you read the? It's not. It's so bad. It's dumb.
Garbage. I mean, a lot was garbage then, but that was like 10 years.
But the lyrics
garbage.
are literal trash, James. They don't make any fucking sense.
No.
They don't even paint a picture.
He just wanted to get to Ice Ice Baby, mentioned like guns and cars a couple of times, so he sounded like a rapper.
Talked about a drop-top Mustang, and I've got a gun. Okay.
Great. Terrific.
Thanks for ruining a song.
Thanks for fucking that up now. Glad we'll still have to see you 30 years from now. Excellent. Christ, people never go away. So one of the people here, this is an attorney, Ed McKinney, who was representing the town. He said it was clear that Mrs. Wright did not provide detectives with critical information when she first spoke with them. In fact, did not provide that information to them until shortly after his body was recovered. As to why she withheld it, we don't know at this time, but from the detective's viewpoint, that certainly complicated the investigation and deprived them of critical information regarding the last moments of Mr. Wright's activities that evening before he left the house. Which, makes sense.
It looks bad.
She also told police that now she's saying that every time he came home, he would go into the attic for a while.
Uh-huh.
He'd go up in the attic and disappear as soon as he came home, like the kid from Parenthood,
right?
The movie back then. And that he had been involved in what she called some major criminal activity in the past and had probably just gotten back into it. So that's why he's dead. Oh, well, that's what Shira says. Now, evidence here, they find 2 different shell casings at the scene. So 2 different caliber weapons, a small caliber and a medium caliber guns are used here. So that to me signifies more than one person. Yeah, definitely. So the police, like we said, searched Shira's house, and they said that one of the lawyers said, I assume it's just part of the routine investigation. They're looking for clues. They're looking for evidence. They're trying to find answers. And that would be one of the logical things to do, to search any premises where Lorenzen was last known to be.
Sure.
Absolutely. Wendy Wilson, the assistant that we talked about, she says she had those audio tapes, and she indicated that Shira Wright was unstable and had made threatening comments about Lorenzen in the past. She said, quote, basically things like if she caught him with anyone else, she'd have him fucked up or whatever.
Jesus.
So sick Isaac Hayes on your ass. Can't get enough of your love. Your love. Gonna murder for your love. Your love.
Had enough of your love, baby.
Had enough of your love, baby. Scientology. He's got to throw that in there, I assume, nowadays, probably. So, the Wendy, what's her name? Wendy Wilson. Wilson. I was going to say Wendy Williams. I know that's not right.
That woman, I've been thinking the same thing every time you say it. I'm like, no, not her.
She said, I went to Memphis police because I was concerned and made a report. Her conversation was all over, but at the same time, it was threatening. So, they have a funeral for poor Lorenzen here.
Jesus.
And there are shitloads of people there. I mean, he knows fucking everybody. He played there, college, high school, NBA. Penny Hardaway said after the funeral, quote, he met a lot because guys who stay here and play here, people looked up to him. He said that every other minute I'm thinking about it because of the way he got killed and the fashion he got killed. It just doesn't happen, especially to guys like Lorenzen. I mean, it happens with gangs, but it doesn't happen to different athletes like that. It's just sad. He was a guy that always came back when others didn't. So, also they start talking about debts now and all of this different things. Shira's putting all sorts of stuff out there. Right. She says, quote, Lorenzen lived 2 separate lives, and one of them caught up to him that night. And it's just, he owed several people money. There was a $4.6 million deficit in our income. And during that time period, he had to figure it out. Like, what are we going to do to make up that deficit? And I'm not proud of it. The reason why it hurts so much is because he did that for us. He wanted to make sure that his family, that we could maintain the lifestyle he had. So, Yeah, they're saying he's millions of dollars in debt, all sorts of shit. Now, the owner of the Grizzlies, Michael Heisley, he says, this is one of the things that disturbs me most. A lot of times in professional sports, the athletes come from poverty and then suddenly find themselves with millions of dollars. Somehow in professional sports, with what happened to Lorenzen, losing most of your money is not the exception. It's the rule. So, yeah, there you go. So they're trying to find the killer here. That's a big deal here. Trying to find the killer. Herb says, I look at his face in these pictures and I know that he's in a better place right now. He said he's very frustrated by how the 911 call was handled.
Yeah.
And but he says he's confident in the Memphis Police Department that they'll find out who did this.
Jeez.
He said, I do know that the police department is giving a diligent effort into trying to find out who did this heinous crime. I know they're working on it, and they're on it 24/7. They're doing as much as they possibly can do. Hopefully they get a lead soon that will help us catch these people that did this. So there's a reward here. You'd think this would be like a big reward. Yeah. It's the state of Tennessee puts up $10,000 for the reward. The city of Memphis puts up $5,000.
Okay.
Crime Stoppers puts up $1,000, and the Memphis Grizzlies, what do you think they put up?
$2,500.
$5,000. Those cheap fucks. They can't say $25,000. Fuck it. We're the Grizzlies. Who gives a shit? We make money. It's the NBA.
Write that off, right?
We're on in fucking China right now. It's what the fuck are we talking about? $5,000.
And
so
you know
there's
what? Also, $25,000. Even at that, somebody that knows about a murder probably isn't going to talk for $25,000. So even if you say we'll put up $25,000,
it's 21. This is 21. I just meant they didn't. They could have added 25 to the
Good
mix.
point. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Least, yeah.
Nobody's going to claim the reward, man. Just put up $10 million. It won't fucking matter.
Yeah.
You'll look like heroes.
They left more in jewelry on him than that is. So anybody that, you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. That's normally not the way that's going to work. That's why that didn't work for like mob hits either.
Right.
Generally, they're not like, I'm going to get that $2,500 they're offering, rather than my entire life of schemes and scams. I'm going to do that. Now FBI documents come out as well.
Okay.
FBI documents about some certain things here. According to FBI documents, in 2008, Lorenzen sold a 2008 Mercedes-Benz and a 2007 Cadillac Escalade to Bobby Cole. No, that doesn't sound like anything.
No.
Bobby Cole is a brother-in-law of Dennis McNeil. Cole is known throughout Memphis for his connections to Craig Petties, who is the kingpin of the city, the drug kingpin of the city. Okay. So these people apparently are, allegedly work for him or whatever. They all had ties to the Mexican cartels. Okay. That's what we're working with here. In 2009, this Petties would plead guilty to 19 charges, including murder, serving 9 concurrent life sentences in federal prison without the possibility of parole.
Oh,
wow. So Cole, the Bobby Cole, when he was indicted for drug distribution in 2007, he offered to turn over to DEA vehicles he purchased with drug money. Mm-hmm. This included the Benz and the Escalade he bought from Lorenzen Wright, which were still registered in Wright's name.
Of course,
by the way,
you can't register your own name because you're fucking.
That was part of the deal.
That you own cars that you shouldn't have the money to own.
Usually, you have your cousin do it or some shit like that, not the previous owner.
Leave it in his name.
Yeah, you wouldn't trust that unless you knew the guy very well, and that's what they're getting into here.
Too.
It's not just Lorenzen, he knows everybody in Memphis, and people he knows who you could get, who has the cash to buy a hot car. Right. Not a hot car, it's not stolen, but like a nice car that you need to get rid of quick for a decent price. Mm-hmm. So he would know where to go. But this is different.
Yeah.
This is that's a different thing. So to keep it registered in your name, that's continually working here. So Cole ended up being sentenced to 8 years for trafficking millions of dollars worth of cocaine into Memphis and millions of dollars of profit back to Mexico. And they said they didn't know, obviously, what Wright's knowledge of this guy's business is. But if they're all in Memphis, he knows who he is. Everybody knows who they all are. So Shira Wright, at this point, is reportedly $3 million in debt. And, Her attorney said that Lorenzen was broke at the time of his death, so Shira would have no reason to kill him. It's not like she's getting any money other than the insurance. So investigators questioned Shira initially, obviously, and she's the last known person to see him alive, told him the box of drugs thing and all that. So this thing goes cold pretty much.
Yeah. It
goes cold. Years go by. 2015 comes around here even. By then, she was saying how she said that she wasn't a suspect. This is what in 2015. She was saying it was just kind of a person of interest. They said that the list was long and wide and they didn't have any real suspects.
Yeah, that's what they tell you.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you, oh, no, we're concentrating on you, so you leave town as soon as possible. So the investigation, though, they look into everybody. They find out that Shira hasn't had a job in 17 years. She's $3 million in debt.
Wow.
So they're trying to build, some kind. I mean, she's been raising fucking 6 kids, too. That's a lot of kids.
True.
So 17 years is since 95.
Yeah.
That makes sense because we're in about 2012 when that happens. So they talk a lot about that fire pit thing. That's one thing they're talking about here. She said that she was fearful of her life because she didn't want to speak about the guys who came from Florida to knock on the door because she thought that she'd be next then.
Yeah.
So it was obviously.
Lorenzen, why wouldn't they get me?
Why aren't they going to get me at all? So she said, the box of drugs thing. They searched her whole house once they found the body, including the backyard fire pit. They found burned pieces of metal and a letter addressed to Lorenzen Wright and Shira. That's what all they found in the fire pit. So who the fuck knows what they were burning here? They have theories. There's theories. There's Mike Rial, who's the deputy chief of investigative services with the Memphis Police Department. He says that they're like, was Lorenzen involved in a gang? Is this something shit like that? And he says, I'm not going to comment on that right now. We just need to withhold some information so we can maintain some integrity about the ongoing investigation. Now, Buddy Chapman, former director of Memphis Police Force, who once investigated Elvis's death, he's the executive director of Crime Stoppers now. He says that, quote, my personal opinion has been all along that he owed a lot of people a lot of money, or he owed a lot of money to the wrong people, and that his murder was a message. If you owe us money, you better pay us. It doesn't matter who you are or how important you are. You need to pay us the entire amount. And he says, I think, quite frankly, the reason we haven't gotten any substantive tips that allowed us to look into anything was because people that killed Lorenzen Wright probably flew in here from God knows where, Prague, Mexico City, wherever, and called to meet him to collect the money. He didn't have all the money. They killed him, got on a plane, and left. There's somebody out there that knows everything, and that's somebody. If that somebody is from Memphis, then $21,000 being offered as a reward, we would have gotten the call if it was a Memphis thing. So Wright's family and friends are like, bullshit. They said that he might have been trying to raise cash, but they said consorting with known drug dealers was unthinkable to him. One of his friends said, I've never heard anything about drug stuff, and I was with him every day. I never saw Lorenzen with a shady character, ever. That's Wendy Wilson, the assistant, said that. So, speculation keeps going on. Nancy Grace does a whole segment about it, screaming and yelling, and then she's like,
riveting TV.
I thought it was Lorenza, a blonde girl. No, it's not a blonde. Never mind. Okay. We was looking for a blonde girl.
Is there not a dead baby we can exploit? None? Not a single one? It's an adult male?
Baby. Bring him to me.
It's an adult male, and we're going to focus hours of TV on this? Why?
Bring me a baby corpse. It gives me strength.
Dead babies make me hot.
Make me hot. She's like third season of Stranger Things when all those people would like wander into that basement and just fall down and turn to bones and like, add to the monster. Yeah, that's what Nancy Grace is. The murdered babies fall and murdered like missing blonde girls and shit, and they just crumble in front of her and they make her bigger until she's like, blah, 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 blah.
Fuck, I hate her.
She's the fucking worst.
A nightmare come to life.
Oh, human nightmare.
And that was James. That woman was a prosecutor. Can you imagine getting yelled at by her in a fucking courtroom?
Just everything. Ugh. She made this person is the devil.
Yeah,
she's like the prosecutor.
And gentlemen of the jury.
Yeah, the jury. Yeah, she reminds me of the prosecutor in the Staircase. The actual thing. Yeah, that lady who's like
similar.
His homosexual desires, which means he's guilty, because if you've ever wanted a penis, it means you killed your wife. Clearly. Jesus Christ. She was a nightmare, that lady. So they held a vigil for him in the 1-year anniversary. The mother had a vigil. 2014, Herb sues Shira for money. Apparently for pissing away the entire insurance settlement, not using it for the kids.
That's
what he's suing her for. Lorenzen had taken out a $1 million life insurance policy to benefit the 6 children. But within months of collecting it, according to public records, the account had $5.05 left in it.
She blew it all.
She contends she spent it responsibly. She says she spent $339,000 on a foreclosed home for them to live in. She bought a house that was foreclosed. She placed that in the children's names, she said. But an accounting revelation here showed that she'd spent the rest of the money on everything from a $32,000 Escalade to $11,750 trip to New York City and $69,000 in furniture for a home.
Wow.
So that's a lot. So anyway,
she bought a used Escalade. That was nice.
That's good. Yeah, she didn't go new, and she bought a foreclosed home, so she's doing it here. So Herb sues, and saying the minor children became entitled. Oh, he's also suing for the pension plan NBA thing, because the kids had a death benefit from the NBA worth approximately $184,000 payable by the NBA players' pension plan here. So he sues her all sorts of different ways here. They agree to a confidential settlement in a dispute over this whole deal. That's how this ends up working. And it's a mess. So will it ever get solved? We're up to like 2014. Well, one of the detectives said, this is one of the active detectives, quote, "We don't consider it a cold case. It's not even in our cold case unit." He says there have been leads as recently as this year. We're working it. Now, Buddy Chapman of Crime Stoppers here with his theories.
Yeah.
He said he's less optimistic. He says, you never know what's going to happen. Somebody might say the wrong thing to somebody. And then he said, I think it's a very good possibility it'll never be solved. Or it won't be solved. Buddy. So Shira, she starts talking about the abuse more, the alleged abuse from Lorenzen. She said the abuse stopped in 2008, though.
Okay.
It stopped, and it had nothing to do with nothing, is the way she put it. Nothing to do with nothing. She said, quote, "If I decided to leave, then he would have decided he was going to kill himself," she said. And then when it got to the point where that didn't work, he would say, well, I'm going to kill the kids, and then I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to kill myself.
Oh, my God.
That's what she's saying. She said, if I wanted Lorenzen dead, I would have just let him kill himself because he tried to so many times. Okay. Now, 2015, Shira writes a book. She writes a book, and she's also remarried at this point and running a ministry called Born to number 2, Born to Prosper. So it's one of those fucking ministries of, give me all your money and I'll dress nice, and then that'll come back on to you because it's the prosperity gospel and that horse shit. So
all this building and lavishing up my lifestyle is going to be good for you.
Yep. She writes a book now, publishes a book called Mr. Tell Me Anything. That's the name of it. It is a thinly veiled biography of her marriage to Lorenzen Wright. Like thinly veiled. Yeah. The people's names are different, but she said, and she told her friends and everything else, everything in it's fucking true. Okay. It's all true. We'll talk about it in a second here. But The title character, Mr. Tell Me Anything, is based on Lorenzen, apparently, and it's the tale of a philandering NBA player who moves to Memphis and marries an older woman.
Weird.
This is from the promo material here. Quote, despite her nurturing efforts, corruption and deceit took their stable places in his life. A breaking point is reached. She makes a life-altering decision. Does it work out for her good? That's a terrible... Does it work out for her good?
For her good.
I
guess that's what it's supposed to be.
For her good.
Right.
Not
but
that
for
sounds
her well.
awful. Yeah. Not.
Does it work out good for her?
Does it work out for her, well? That would be better. Or does it work out for her own good? Yeah. Maybe. Her good. That just doesn't sound right. I would say
sounds like bad English.
I get it's grammatically correct, but doesn't sound like it. So let's change it. Did all his lies finally catch up to him? Or would he or she pay the ultimate price? That's what it is. And they said a handful of violent incidents between the two main characters and Mr. Tell Me Anything are folded in with allegations of infidelity and explicit descriptions of sexual encounters. Shira told the Memphis Commercial Appeal, it's a media thing there, in 2015 that, quote, 99.99% of the book contained true stories from her relationship with Lorenzen. She described it as on social media as, quote, my story. And Lorenzen Jr. said that his mother wrote about things that really happened in her life. Now, in this book, they talk about Mr. Tell Me Anything has fucking a different woman in every city. There's stories of her coming home and catching him with a woman and chasing some naked woman into the bathroom and pummeling her into fucking mental insolvency. God. And then putting her keys between her hands and punching him in the face and slicing fucking key marks all on his face from that. And I'm like, holy shit, that was my fucking thing. I was like, God damn.
Why is he married?
And why is she proud of doing that?
Right.
If a man said, I walked in and caught my wife fucking this woman, or fucking another man, I took him in the bathroom, I beat him within an inch of his life, then I put keys in between my hands, punched my wife in the face, made sure to cut her deep so no one will find her pretty no more. People be like, put that man in the fucking electric chair now. What a sick motherfucker. They're like, good for you, girl.
Show him who's the real boss.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding. Nobody is okay with this, I would hope. That's a joke. Go
get him, CEO.
Yeah, go get him, mom-entrepreneur. Whatever the fuck the multi-level mark. Boss, yeah. We did a bonus episode and had all these CEO, my God. No one would be okay with key punches. Beating the woman in the bathroom, that's understandable, I feel like. That's a thing that's a heat of the moment thing.
Yeah.
Weapons to the face are another issue. That's nobody thinks that's okay. So, according to, this was later on in 2015 now, according to BookScan, a data provider for the book industry, the book had sold 7 copies. So,
when?
Over like a while, months. Wow. It sold 7 copies, so nobody wanted that. She was planning on writing another one, actually, and in the second one, Mr. Tell Me Anything gets killed.
Oh, weird.
So if you could read that, you just find out what happened in this murder, apparently. So anyway, here I'll show you. I'll turn the monitor toward you here. Mr. Tell Me Anything, Volume 1 is the way she puts it.
She was going to do several.
It's got 3.5 stars on Amazon because at a 47 rating, so it had to have fucking sold more than 7 copies eventually.
Could be digitals. Do they call those copies?
Well, we'll get to that in a second here. Falling in love with the same man of her dreams over and over again was not a difficult task for Sharon Robertson. Cherie Robinson. Sharon Robertson. Wow. She had cherished Mr. Can't Tell Me Anything so long that her fragile heart didn't even know how not to love him. After 6 years, the couple settles into a troubled marriage. Despite the inherited challenges of parenting and relating to their obvious differences, they continue on. With the constant chaos of surrounding women, new acquaintances, family, and greed, their efforts would soon appear to be ultimately in vain. Combined with the newfound lies and deception, she finds herself questioning his commitment. Her belief in true love propels her to fight for what she has envisioned from the start. But despite her nurturing efforts, corruption and deceit, blah, 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 we found that. Right. That was the end that we heard over there. So on Amazon, it is currently out of print, is all it says. So you can't even get a digital copy. You can't get shit on there. I'm sure if I went on one of these used book sites, I could find it for $1 or something, but it's out of fucking print. Nobody cares about it. It's 232 pages.
Wow.
This fucking thing. Shira Wright says that Shira Wright said she planned to move to Houston later that year. And she said, you want the closure to get away from the situation. I think I want it. I think I want to know what happened and get closure. So she does this interview with Matt Schleff, a Fox Sports producer. And he asked her straight up, did you have anything to do with Lorenzen's death?
Yeah.
Period. Now, did you have any part in Lorenzen's murder, is what she said. This is wild. After a pause, she said this, okay? Quote, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an author, and the police should find his killer. I'm a minister of the Lord, and I've never been in any type of trouble.
What?
Then she said again, I'm a wife, then first I'm a wife, then I'm a mother, then thirdly I'm an author. The law enforcement should do what's best to find out who's the killer. That is nowhere in there is the word no mentioned. Not even once. She doesn't say all that and then go, so no, obviously.
Right.
None of that. She just says all that, like they should find the killer. Wow. I mean, wouldn't you just say no even if you did it?
You'd think
no,
so,
of course not.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. No, I'm a mother, I'm an author, I'm a fucking wife, but I'm not a murderer.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not is a fucking murderer. Didn't do that. Not me. So he said, you understand obviously why I had to ask that. Yeah. She said, I do, but I'm a wife, a mother, and an author. I let people do what they're good at doing, and I'm just going to do what I'm good at doing. They need to spend time and focus and find out what happened to him. We all need to know. So I do what I'm doing. I'm not a cop, is what she's saying. I couldn't find
Right.
I'm not the one, though. I definitely didn't murder him. So Deborah, the mom, Lorenzen's mom, she 100% thinks it's Shira. Absolutely. She says she's angry. She said she has spent the last half decade working as an unpaid homicide investigator. She has evidence and folders and papers all over her fucking house. She keeps binders with notes, laminated news clippings, you name it. Everything had to be moved into a storage facility when she ran out of room in the house for this shit. She loves her son. Don't kill. Like, this whole thing, this reminds me of my mother a lot. Her lawyer-like questioning of her son's friends and acquaintances has fucked up some relationships, and she doesn't give a shit. She said, quote, I want to keep my son's name out there because his name came down in Memphis trash. And as long as I got blood still running warm in my body, I'm going to do something. Ain't nobody else going to tell me when I'm tired of doing something for my child. Nobody. She says, and 6 mms. I'm from Mississippi. You can't piss in my face and tell me it's right. I'm going to taste that salt. They killed my child.
What?
I'm from Mississippi, so I taste piss right. I know what piss tastes like.
Can you imagine growing up? That woman said wild shit his whole childhood.
Yeah. She's a trip, man.
You better eat your dinner. I'm from Mississippi.
I'm from Mississippi. I will whoop you 6 ways down to the Texas coast. You're going to put you in the Gulf, make you swim home with shrimp in your hands. Now get your ass in there and eat that. Like, what? I don't know what that means.
Don't piss in my face and tell me it's right. No,
she said, yeah, tell me it's right. But she said she didn't go that way. Don't tell me it's right. I'm going to taste that salt, she said. Piss salt. They killed my child! !
She is a party.
Her theory of the case centers on both Shira and crime, organized crime to be specific. She said, by the way, of Shira's book, Deborah said, this is the book I want to read. Quote, how I orchestrated getting my ex-husband killed. Jesus Christ. She believes that Memphis gangs were involved, and she has vowed to avenge the killing herself. Wow. Herself. This is where my mom would come in. If you killed me, oh God, my mother you'd never get her away from. She would murder everybody.
I'm here
She'd
to question Raw Dog.
Oh my God, forget about it. With my grandmother with the knife in her purse, it's a mess. The whole thing would be bad. She has. She believes they were blah, blah, blah. She has gone so far as to prepare a notebook thick with instructions about her funeral and burial. That's what she said, in case she gets killed going after the wrong people. She said, quote, I ain't afraid of death, and I ain't playing. That's what she said. I ain't afraid of death, and I ain't playing. Some of my family members are scared, but I'm not.
No.
She don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Kill my kid. I'm coming for your ass. At one point, she shared her revenge fantasy with her psychologist, who tried to dissuade her and added that psychologists are duty-bound to report such fantasies to the police if something happens. And she said to the guy, quote, you didn't bury anything you birthed into this world, so you don't know what I feel. Don't fuck with Deborah.
Yeah.
Debbie's a badass, and I love her. So Debbie and Herb were like the two coolest parents we've ever had. Isn't it funny that we've had someone here with two awesome parents, and he's the only guy who's never been arrested 30 fucking times on our entire fucking show. The best set of parents we've ever had, and not arrested constantly. Weird, right? Strange how that works. So the mother talks about his brother here, talks about he's got a little brother, Lorenzen, and he's playing basketball. He's only 15, the little brother.
Wow.
And she talks about the little brother. He's already about 6'4" and getting bigger. And Deborah says that she watches him play. When she watches him play, she thinks about watching Lorenzen, and she says she doesn't want him to play. She says, I tell him, quit playing so hard. You don't need to be getting all those rebounds. You don't need to be getting all those shots. Quit playing so hard.
All they're going to do is give you $50 million. Stop it.
Yeah. Well, they said, why? She said, I don't want him to be as good as his brother. I don't need another NBA player. I just need a child that goes to work and takes care of his wife and kids, and that's it. I don't need another NBA player because all money is not good money. Lorenzen was an NBA player, a millionaire, knew everyone, and look what happened. He ends up dead and no one knows a thing.
Great point.
Fuck yeah. Shira moves to California.
Really?
She goes to California. Her new husband's name is Tim Robertson. And he worked as for a record label and lived in Memphis at one point. Okay. So, again, kind of in with music industry type people here. November 9th, 2017, a gun is found in a lake in Walnut, Mississippi, which we have talked about in Small Town Murder. We did an episode in Walnut, Mississippi. I think that was the Cookie Monster one, if I'm not mistaken, which is fucking... really crazy episode. Listen to that. So if you haven't listened to Small Town Murder, maybe start there.
Yeah.
So,
Deborah's from Mississippi. This is a bad thing.
Memphis police are the ones who find it, too. Walnut, Mississippi. It is on County Road 302, about 50 miles east of Olive Branch. Now, it's believed, the Memphis police spokesman says it's believed that this is the murder weapon. Oh. Now, how the fuck would Memphis police know to look in Walnut, Mississippi, in a lake in a rural area to find a gun?
Did $21,000 to give somebody enough reason to talk?
Not quite, but there's a guy named Jimmie Martin. Jimmie Martin is Shira's cousin. Jimmie Martin. Jimmie spelled like you, i.e.
Oh, really?
He says that as many as 7 people had knowledge of this murder and what happened in this murder. They include 4 family members of Shira Wright's extended family. The way Jimmie Martin tells it, Lorenzen Wright's body was still in the secluded meadow where he'd been shot when Shira came to see him, came to see Jimmie.
What?
He said that Shira arrived with a plan and a story. They said that Jimmie Martin, quote, received payment for his part in the plot and helped clean up the crime scene with a metal detector.
Wow.
And they all, and that the conspirators they earlier had tried to kill Lorenzen in Atlanta. This is like the 3rd attempt on his life, is what he says. He says in Atlanta they had attempted to crawl through an open window, and but they ended up giving up because they found only another guy sleeping on the couch, not him. They thought he was going to be sleeping on the couch.
They got all the way in there.
They got in there, and his boy was sleeping, and it wasn't him.
Wow.
She told Jimmie Martin that she and her lover landscaper Billy Ray Turner, he's a part-time deacon who landscapes for a church.
Scumbag.
They had killed him. This is when she showed up to say, hey, you got to help me clean up the crime scene with her cousin. She's like, listen, me and Billy Ray killed him, and now you go with me and Billy Ray Turner to help us clean up the crime scene.
Yeah.
So apparently he stated that days after the murder of Lorenzen Wright, he was picked up by Shira Wright at his home in Batesville, Mississippi. He stated that Shira Wright borrowed a metal detector from his mother, Edna Robinson, and then they left. Jimmie Martin said that he rode to Memphis, Tennessee with Shira, where they picked up Billy Turner, and they confessed to Jimmie that they had murdered Lorenzen, and Jimmie said that he assisted Shira and Billy in cleaning up the crime scene and destroying evidence from the murder. Jimmie said that the metal detector was used to locate a firearm that was accidentally dropped during the murder. They fucking dropped the murder weapon.
And had no idea where it was.
And couldn't find it because it's high grass.
Yeah.
It's just a high grass area. They fucking dropped it and couldn't find it, so they had to take off, and so they found it with a metal detector.
Wow.
He also says that he knew where the gun was because he fucking helped dispose of it. That's why he knew. He said that he accompanied Billy Turner to a lake located on Highway 72 in Walnut, Mississippi, where Billy Turner disposed of a handgun that was used to murder Lorenzen. Among other allegations, there's, here we go. A woman named Claudia Robinson witnessed a meeting at which Martin, Turner, and Shira Wright plotted to kill Lorenzen. And she witnessed that. An initial attempt to kill Wright in Atlanta failed when they found an unknown man sleeping on the couch of the home they were targeting.
Yeah.
Billy Ray and Shira were in a sexual relationship and conspired to kill Lorenzen for insurance money. Authorities set up electronic surveillance on the suspects after they heard this information, and then ended up releasing the info about the gun when they found it, but they found all sorts of plotting and all sorts of shit talking and everything else in these phone conversations. And police overheard Shira Wright and Turner discussing the finding of the gun. This is why they did that.
To get
they
them
figured,
to talk. Yeah.
you gotta poke the nest here,
right.
So
release
you get
that you
them.
Found the gun, especially if it's the
then
murderer
listen to your
hit
taps.
It. Yeah.
Yep.
And the
there's
people
going to be
that
chatter.
had anything to do with it, they're going to be yapping.
Yep. Anybody watch The Wire, they know how that shit works. So Wright even flew from her new home in California back to Memphis, where she met Turner, and as the officers covertly photographed them. So set them up. They said that this information of finding the gun caused Shira great stress. In a call, Shira Wright stated, someone done sent someone somewhere to get something, indicating that she knew the police were talking to an informant. Like, they couldn't have just pulled that out of their ass. They had to know where the fuck to look.
You don't just stumble into Walnut, Mississippi and find that.
Well, if the Mississippi police found it, but not the Memphis police down there. Jimmie told them this in 2012. This has been known for years. They were just trying to close the trap, basically, here. He first turned on her in 2012. By the way, Jimmie's in prison for murder, so we'll talk about that. Not this murder, a different murder.
He's a bad man.
Of his girlfriend. Not a great guy anyway. Billy Turner and Shira Wright weren't arrested till 5 years after that. Shira Wright's team here is looking into all this. They said, my God, this is fucking crazy. Martin stood trial in 2009 in Shelby County for the murder of his girlfriend, Martha Jean Bones. The jury acquitted him of a first-degree murder charge, but deadlocked on a lesser charge of second-degree murder. So 1 and 1. The Martin was later convicted of second-degree murder. They tried him again, and he is sentenced to 20 years in prison following that. Okay. So, he was out on bond for murder when this whole thing happened, by the way. When he was cleaning up murder scenes. He was an aspiring rapper and producer when he met some other people here. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, when he met that girl, they had a stormy relationship, and then he shot her to death in an apartment. Jesus. So He said, quote, he said from the outset it was an accident. Martin called 911 and could be heard crying on the tape. But witnesses for the prosecution told a different story. They spoke of explosive arguments and physical encounters, including one in which Martin allegedly chased Bounds with a hammer that he threw at her, shattering her car window.
Wow.
Which is pretty fucking violent. So, December 5th, 2017, Billy Ray Turner, Shelby County landscaper and church deacon at Mount Olive No. 1 Missionary Baptist Church in Collierville, is indicted on first-degree murder charges.
Of Lorenzen Wright.
And held on a $1 million bond.
Uh-oh.
Now, Deborah, Lorenzen's mother, said, when I saw him, I knew instantly that Shira used him because that's not what she wanted. You know he had no money. She don't deal with no grass cutter. That's amazing. She don't deal with no grass cutter. I love this fucking lady.
Yeah.
Deborah, you're the best. I love Deborah. She's the shit. So they went to the same church, I guess, apparently. That's how they met. Witnesses said that Shira masterminded the plan to have two men kill Lorenzen in his home. Obviously, that failed. Anyway, so December 15, 2017, Wright's ex-wife, obviously, Shira, is arrested in California in connection with the murder. 7 years later, Jesus Christ, they said they called Turner. Oh, yeah, they said that Billy Ray, what, an ongoing danger. Oh, okay. Yeah, they called her an ongoing danger, by the way, and put her bail at $20 million.
Holy shit.
She ain't getting out.
No.
So, that's bad shit now. They say that Jimmie Martin's just trying to get out of trouble of his own thing, even though he's sentenced, and that doesn't matter, he's not getting any break on this, and never did, as a matter of fact. They charge her with first-degree murder, same as Billy Ray Turner, and they said that it was motivated by money, obviously. Now, she has a new husband, Reginald Robinson, like we talked about here, and he had been a sheriff's deputy since 1999. And now he's a witness in the whole thing because one of the allegations is that Shira was sitting around talking about how to kill Lorenzen, and they said that one of the witnesses says that Reginald Robinson was around when the meeting occurred, so he becomes a witness. The whole thing, too, how was a sheriff's deputy and Jimmie Martin had said that the gun was like a type of police gun use, a type of gun police use, and he had... I guess, or I suppose so. It gave out shell casing, so it'd have to be. Yeah. It wouldn't be a revolver, like old-timey. Yeah, it'd have to be at least semi-automatic. So they check. They're trying to find out if it belonged to him because he was a sheriff's deputy.
Oh, shit.
So they're saying, did she take it from him? Did she swipe it from him is what they think. So now, the other thing, they never say who's the second shooter.
Right. That's
my problem. Billy Ray's a shooter. Who's the fucking second shooter, man?
Yeah, there's two guns.
Either Jimmie Martin is the second shooter, allegedly, and he's not saying it because it's easier for him to just... And the police are saying, don't say it, because the only way that they would say it is if Shira admitted to the whole thing and said, he was there too because I hired him to be there. Right. That'd be the only way. So he's kind of playing chicken with her maybe on that. I don't know. That's just a theory here. So the kids speak up, by the way, the Wright kids. They talk out. They say they were with their mother that the night that she was arrested in 2017. Shamar, one of the twins, said the police are pulling us over, and we're like, oh snap, were we speeding or something? We hear them say like homicide, homicide. We're scared because they had guns pulled. It was like 10 officers with guns pointed at my mom. At this point, I'm like so confused and angry. Like, why are they arresting my mom? And they said they remained, this is in 2017, they remained convinced that their mother was 100% innocent.
Fascinating.
Quote, I believe, this is Lamar, the other twin, I believe her 100%. I've seen the hurt in my mom. I've seen the hurt that she's had. And I know how much harder life is without my father, and I know how much she loved him. So, June 2018, they find Billy Turner's car, and they think that this is the car that left the scene. So they're trying to figure that out here. they said that the guy that gave them the information when he heard shooting, he'd come out and the car that ran by him was a Dodge Stratus. And that's the only Dodge Stratus that Billy Ray had. And it looks kind of brown. At that time of night, it could look kind of brown. So they're looking into, like, you know, somebody saw a car drive away and then this guy's got the same type of car. They're looking into that. Shira, they're wondering if she's even competent for trial.
Okay.
Now Deborah's having none of that shit, the mother.
No,
she
she's
says,
writing books and shit. She's competent as fuck.
You're thinking right along the same line. She said, quote, "How you write a book and you crazy," was her line. Exactly.
I'm from Mississippi. It's all about who she can see in the mirror, herself, because if she loved her kids, she would never have killed their daddy. Yeah.
That's right. That's not how we do it in Mississippi. So while she's in custody, the reason why they're having this, while she's in custody, Wright stripped naked Shira and used her clothes to stuff the toilet in an attempt to flood her cell, saying that she was, quote, "going swimming, y'all." That is pretty crazy.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
On the nutty side.
It's nuts. In a report submitted as evidence here, Wright caused a verbal riot, cursed guards, and refused to comply with orders and was slow to comply when she did. So her attorney said that could be attributed to her, quote, deteriorating mental health, possibly.
Yeah, or a woman who didn't expect to get caught and now is furious that she's in prison.
Not happy at all with that fucking development. And I mean, she's in prison pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, she's pissed off. Yeah. And then, you know, I'm going swimming, y'all. And they send somebody in to talk to her that they think might be able to get through to her.
Yeah.
Somebody different than the usual people they send in. They had to send away for her, but she was willing to do it. They sent in my grandma. Unbelievable. Grandma's in there.
Willing to talk.
And she says, "Ma, how is it you've come to arrive here? Ma, what the hell are you doing? Oh, my, you killed this nice man. You have so many kids. They come, they love their father. Ma, why? Why you do this? Huh? Why you put on with the guy with the landscape? You go Isaac Hayes with the bald head, and he sings, I can't get enough. I know the song. It's a nice song. You put on, I don't like you. I'm not going to give you food I brought. No, I was going to give you frittata sandwich, but no, I'm going to poof. And in a poof of sauce and anger, she's gone.
And your mom pokes her head around the corner and says, "I told you Shira's a whore.
Told you Shira's a fucking whore." That's how it works. Whore Shira. My daughter says Shira's a slut. I said, "Ma, why?" And then I look, I say, she is. Okay. I see now. I see. It's okay. So, July 25th, 2019, out of nowhere, she's saying, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. Out of nowhere, she just one day says, pleading guilty.
What?
Fuck it, pleading guilty. Pleads guilty, Shira does, to facilitation of first-degree murder in the shooting death of Lorenzen.
Wow.
And we'll talk about why. I think it makes sense to her mathematically, basically, here. During this, before the sentencing, we get Deborah gets to speak in court as well. She says, quote, "Miss Shira, I want to thank you for giving me my grandchildren, and that's what I want to thank you for. I want you to unlock them so I can get to them so they can see their grandma, because Sophia keeps calling. She wants to come make chicken and dumplings. But I want you to call them and say, no, it's okay to talk to grandma. Grandma still loves you. That's all I want is my grandkids. I just hate what happened to my child. But he left nice-looking kids here for his grandma. They want to see me like I want to see them. I'm ready for them to come back to the home with their family because I miss them." Shira asked if she was allowed to reply, and her lawyer told her to shut the fuck up and sit there. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's the victim's mother. Shut up.
Don't you talk.
He said, I advised her not to because at this point, what difference does it make? He said, just don't do it. It's not going to help any. Now, she said, with Lorenzen, I'd be talking to his picture, and sometimes his picture could look at me in a certain way, like it's really him. He was a mama's boy. Simple as that. He would be a mama's boy if he were here now. She gets, you, ma'am, may fuck off. First of all, she's credited for more than 500 days and served already that she's been there. If she went to trial, she faced life in prison.
Yeah.
She is eligible for release in 7 years.
Why?
Eligible for release in 2026. She is. Her full sentence runs out in like 2043 or something, but she's going to get out.
That is not fair.
Few years. Yeah, she's got 6 kids. They're going to let her out. So, yep, she gets to go there. That's pretty. It's pretty fucked up. Yeah. She does an interview saying that she absolutely did not kill. They asked her, "Did you play any part in it?" Now she knows how to answer. Yeah. Absolutely not. Right. She said, "Well, you know, what the fuck happened?" She said, "Well, I didn't want to go for life, and I feel like they were railroading me." And she says, "Who did it? My cousin Jimmie. It's all him, Jimmie Martin." She said, "I mean, you could literally put the gun in his hand. He was a couple weeks of him having his murder trial. Lorenzen was blackmailing him basically because he moved drugs. And the whole thing was it benefited him in both ways. I mean, it's plenty of motives there." Wow, that's some convoluted shit there.
Or you hired your cousin to kill your ex-husband. That's what happened.
Yeah, your cousin and your scumbag boyfriend.
It's much easier to get from A to B there. It's a shorter trip.
Yeah. Then, he was so mad at Lorenzen, he killed him. Probably
Lorenzen Wright's blackmailing a guy that murders women?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Drug dealers who murder women. April 15th, 2021, Shira sues. She sues here. She's suing the Shelby County Sheriff's Office for $12 million.
Wow.
She says in her lawsuit against 2 sergeants and 2 correctional officers, she claims she suffered cruel and unusual punishment, and she suffered extreme mental anguish and duress, which sounds like prison. She goes on to say, "Currently, I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, nightmares, depression, anxiety, along with resulting physical distress." And she's suing for $2 million in compensatory damages, $10 million in punitive damages.
Wow.
July 8th, 2021, she says now she wants to toss out her guilty plea.
And now she wants
pulling it back. Never mind. Change my mind.
That's how it works.
She said that she asked the judge, Judge Lee Coffey, who approved her guilty plea to begin with and sentenced her to 30 years in prison, to hold an evidentiary hearing. She said everything is not what it seems, and she added how being a victim of abuse, quote, all my life made me take a plea deal.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
She alleged that her conviction was, quote, unlawfully induced. Now, they went through her attorney, right, which is, that's, there's no inducing someone who's got a lawyer. That's why you have a lawyer. That's the whole point. And so they can't fuck you. Right. And involuntarily entered without her understanding the nature and consequences of her plea. You didn't know that if you plead guilty to fucking murdering your ex-husband for profit, that right, possibly they'd put you in fucking prison for that?
Weird.
Wow. Yeah, she claimed that her coerced confession was the result of ineffective counsel and her constitutional rights to due process and protection from self-incrimination were violated and seeks to have it set aside. August 10th, 2021, what is this, a month later? Never mind, I'm good. Guilty's fine.
Yeah.
Withdraws her request. Will continue to serve her sentence as is. Okay. She's not seeking that anymore. She's just going to go ahead and serve her sentence, her attorney says. The judge says, "You're sure now this time."
Yeah.
He says, quote, "You cannot come back tomorrow, next week, or a year from now, or 10 years from now, and say, 'Judge, I changed my mind. I want to have this heard. I do not believe the defense represented me effectively or efficiently, and I want you to hear this and decide whether or not I'll be allowed to withdraw this guilty plea. If I grant the request, Ms. Wright, there will be no trial. Do you understand?' Yes, I do." There you go. So that's that. Billy Ray Turner, on the other hand, by the way, is still awaiting trial. His trial was set earlier, but it kept getting delayed due to COVID.
Yeah.
And now his trial date is set for January 31st, 2022.
Unbelievable.
So it's coming up. Lorenzen Wright Jr. played some college ball. He played for Robert Morris and then for, Tennessee Martin, University of Tennessee at Martin or something like that also. And did pretty well for himself. And from what I found out, he's got like a professional job now. Looks like
good.
I found his LinkedIn. Looks like he's doing pretty goddamn well for himself.
Love that.
Shira's LinkedIn is still up.
Is it really?
Yeah, it says she's a minister at Born to Prosper,
And
or
an
Rise to Prosper. And an author, yeah, obviously. And a mother.
Yeah.
So that, everyone, is the horrific case of Lorenzen Wright. Both a trick and a treat.
Yeah.
And we gave it to you for Halloween. A horrible murder. And you won't hear about anything grosser than someone losing 200 pounds in decomp in 10 days. I think that's pretty gross. So we win the Halloween sweepstakes of grossness. Like I said, that's a story it needs to be told. It's a crazy story. And the guy, I mean, he didn't deserve to get killed, this fucking guy, by any stretch of the imagination.
And he did so great in the NBA. For it to come to a crashing halt and have nothing and then be murdered by some Shira slut.
Yeah, slut. She's a slut.
It's so sad. What a story.
It really is sad. And his story, just because he wasn't a scumbag doesn't mean his story doesn't get told.
Yeah.
Normally we only tell the stories of the bad. Tell the story of a decent guy who got a bad situation, man. Yeah. So that's Lorenzen Wright. We're very sorry about that. That said, if you like that story, tell the world. Give us a review. Whatever app you're listening on or platform, give us however many stars that you're allowed to give.
Whatever's possible.
And tell us, it's not for our ego, but it does help the show a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Tickets available for shows. Crime in Sports has one live show with tickets left, and it's in Sacramento in like August of 2022. But you can get those
before we get there.
Yeah, the rest, Small Town Murder. There's tickets left for Brea Improv in November. There's also tickets left for the first Seattle show. I know. Everything else is pretty much sold out. There might be a ticket here, a ticket there, but there's not going to be lots of them. So check all those out. Come and see us at a live show. Also, head over to patreon.com/Crime in Sports, where we are going to talk about some crazy stuff this week. You're going to get access to all the bonus episodes, the whole back catalog. You're going to have it all. If you like hearing the shows, this is kind of weird topics that we don't fit into our show specifically, but then we get to talk about them there. This week, we're going to talk about one of the weirdest things ever, the World Bodybuilding Federation, which is Vince McMahon's attempt at a literal, like the WWE, except for bodybuilders. He had tried to have storylines in it. Lou Ferrigno was involved. It was crazy.
Who can bench the most? That's stupid.
No, it's posing, not it's bodybuilding, not weightlifting.
It's not
weightlifting, it's bodybuilding.
It's posing.
It's posing. They'd have pose downs. And they had a pay-per-view. He made a pay-per-view for this shit. The story's incredible of how someone can fucking lose shitloads of money with a stupid idea like that. And everyone was so vascular. He was very excited. So check that out. And then on Small Town Murders bonus episode, which you'll also have access to, we are going to talk about Scott Peterson.
Yeah.
And, obviously Lacey Peterson, the victim there. But we're going to talk about Scott's story. And does it hold water?
Was it Connor?
Connor. Yeah. And there's been so many requests to what the fuck do we think of that? Because everybody has an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those cases where people you think would have a certain opinion have a different opinion.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this person would totally think he's guilty. And they're like, I don't know, that story sounded pretty good. And you're like, wow, really? Okay. Like, it's so strange.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into all that. Check that out. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports. Can't wait to see you there. And you're going to get a shout out, which we're going to get to in a minute, because we love you. Damn it.
We do.
And then if you want to follow us on social media, we are at Crime in Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. That said, damn it, Jimmie. Hit me with these like a hail of 11 gunshots that no one ever fucking talks about and doesn't even tell anyone about till 8 days later. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Dr. Shay Haggy, who started a new practice in this environment. And,
congrats.
And we helped them do
Good
that.
luck.
So thank you so much, Doc. And I hope you fix people. Jeremiah Gruther's wife, Grundle, I think it's Grundle, right? It can't be Grundle.
Let's go with Grundle. Let's go with Grundle.
It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Grundle.
Happy birthday to you, Grundle.
Jordan and Simon are celebrating their 17th anniversary this year. Look at them.
Congrats. Look at you Canadian-English mixture there. Look at you. We'll see you at live shows. Can't
wait. Mary Claire Grigson, Carol Braun loved the Tyson shows. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Melissa Turner, Rahul Singh? Rahul? I am so uncultured.
The guy from the Great British Baking Company, I think. That's the Great British Bake Off or whatever the fuck it is. The guy named Rahul, an Indian guy, won the.
Was it Rahul Singh?
Maybe.
I hope so.
I hope so.
John Putzler, it's got to be. And Clay Thorson's wife, Melissa, had a birthday also. Happy birthday, Melissa. I hope you love it.
Happy birthday to Melissa.
Make Clay do horrible shit in your benefit. Other producers this week are Amy Ambrose. She grew up mad poor, and she got a mortgage. So congrats, you new homeowner.
Congrats.
Maria Rasper, Justine McNeil, James Martyr, Corporal Carl Kirshner, Rabbi Shmulovich, Peyton Meadows, Jimmy D. Nuts. I don't know what that's about. Breaker Happy Hour is out there, so come on back.
Excellent.
Arthur's Uncle Peter and Aunt Pearl, James. Rachel Anderson, Kristen Bellinger, Dances with Vapes, Smelly Moccasins. Bobby Lee, Marianne Rodriguez, Eric Onen, Doug Jones, Hi Dylan, Maria Coop Sousley, Lauren Sullivan, Terry Glover, Kelsey Couts, Jennifer Lunewitz, Martins, Susanna Platt, Janice Hill, Emily McGinn. She got a new job, and she used the town's reviews to pick it, and it worked. She loves the place she's at.
Hey,
congratulations,
sweet.
Emily. Awesome. Emmeline Brumley, Blackjack Mulligan, and Blackjack Lanza. Jessica Finch.
The Blackjacks from the 70s. Very nice. Tag team.
Margaret Eaton donates both ways. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thank you.
Matt Villanueva, Joseph Ruffino, William Evans, Nancy Weaver, Madeline Frazee of the Frazee Paint Fortune, obviously. Vicky Royalston, Nora Othel Korsgaard, Jacob Rolick. Brendan Schmelzlo, what? Matthew Phillips? No way, that's Susanna Foster, Robbie King, Audras, with no last name, Kathy Henry, Madeline Shout, shit. Is that shit?
One of those, probably.
Sally
Hopefully
Buckingham,
not shit.
Damian Flynn, Wedge Wegman, Chase Fowler, Shannon Thrain, Ashton Davila, Patricia Nye, Don White, Tyler the Dirty Archaeologist. I didn't know there was an A in archaeologist. Clinton McNally. Two A's. I thought it was
archaeologist.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Clinton McNally, Taylor Weir, Sarah with no last name, Moon Girl 1029, Charlotte Mallow, Krista Ramirez, Scott with no last name, Tomper 1, Jennifer Shit. That's shit. SCHEYT. That's sheet. Shit. Casey Alexis, Brian Easter, Connor Piper, Vicky Murphy, Michael Hughes, Megan Bracklesberg. Oh, boy. Tracy Vandenberg, Stephanie Gaunche, Jeff Cole, DeMarcus Moreland, Lauren Armstrong, Nicholas Moore, Dakota Clement, Kat Milani, Biscuit the Cat, Judy Farmer, Rebecca Williams, Vicky Askew, Dylan Hayes, Ryan Winter.
You're a little off on the Askew.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Jameis McNearney, Cordell Norton, Kendra M., Fanny Boisvert, Jimmy's a whore. Got it. All right. Hillary Schroeder, perfect. Rochelle Schilling, R.J., Amanda Payton, Zach Stevenson, Caitlin with no last name, the eccentric prick. That's fun. J.C. What the fuck? Sinjanini? No. Space Lizard Britt, Courtney Groening, Ryan Noble, Emily Dorton, Mary Rowe, Mustafa Anderson II, Random what? Random meth dealer. What? Random death meddler. Andrew Kearney, Dominique Watson, Joseph Simmons, Portia Sandel, Chris Kirby, Melissa Thompson, Zane Royer, Rachel Mosley. I think so. Michael Klein, Lane Price, Brian Lurwill. Oh, what is this? Carrie Smith, seven Rashia. I don't know. Jennifer Hoover, Bella Doletsky, Gina Quick, Blair Collette, Shelley Jackson, Brandy Bosworth, Sarah Lehman, Isabel Devery, Kat with no last name, Josiah Santos, Robert Graves, Zachary Skaggs, Teresa Roney Messenger, Fraser 22, Matthew Crookston, Lisa Holman, Ryan Romine.
Hey. Romaine?
Amanda with no last name, Owen McKay, Philippa Waldberg, King Alex 60. You can't go by King Alex. Come on, man. What are you, fucking LeBron? Bobby Bushnell, Irene Case. You better be the LeBron of whatever you do, Alex. Irene Case, Curtis Vesper, Amelie Dupree, Tom Grace, Olivia Mitchell, Clyde Pine, Julia McElreath? What? Ben Morgan, Becky Schultz, Sean Carly, Tara with no last name, Zach Jonesy Hodges, Pauline Brown, Natalie Odell, Maria Lewin, I don't know, Ashley Harris, George with no last name, Claire Oakley, Sawyer Thoreau, Tiffany Wiggins, Jan Pinnell, Carmen P., Allison Smith, Brooke Smith, Zachary Banks, Maggie with no last name, Marcus Foldo, Dylan Morissette, Stuart Smith, Christina Donadick, Eric with no last name, Mandy McLeod, Michael Frater Cangelli. Oh, boy. Nice. And all of our patrons, you guys are unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys are always there for us, and we really do appreciate that. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, honestly. Couldn't do it without you guys out there. And Jimmie, what if they wanted to thank you? How could they possibly do it?
Well, I'm on the internet
bad things
in some places. Like Instagram and Twitter and shit like that. I think you're there too. Where are you at?
I think so. Well, you know what you can do? You can find us both. Just Google the show.
There you
Google the show. It'll say exactly who the hell we are and where you can find us. And keep doing that. Keep coming back and seeing us. And next week we'll back to normal with another scumbag. Another asshole who pissed away his entire career. So that said, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.